Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I am your androgynous android, Berkshire from the future, Nathan Blades. This is the Neon Costa Twitch channel, and we are into our 5th of 8 one-shot RPG sessions of Phantom Arts Fest. Delta Green, an Eldritch horror tabletop RPG, which I have not played, but I am very, very, very excited to see played by these fantastic performers with us here tonight. Going in vertical order on what you can currently see on the screen, please, once again, welcome to the stage our delightful GM for this scenario, Juicy Garland.
Hi, I'm Juicy. I will be your handler for the evening. I am a Boston area drag queen and big ol' nerd, here to have some fun and scare some people.
Following that, also returning for their second session as part of Phantom Arts Fest. Welcome back, C.
Hey y'all, my name's Sia. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at PieSharpArt. If you like what I do, you like what I do wherever else I do it. So I'm super excited to be terrified in this here little one shot tonight.
Gosh, everybody's so efficient, so professional. Speaking of a professional, we have many time returner on the Neon Costa channel who was previously running Mothership for us yesterday. Please, everybody, welcome back, Draco.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Very excited to play this. This is going to be my first chance to actually play this system, especially in quite some time, so I'm excited to see what comes of it.
It's always great, actually, when there can be actual play examples of games that you've never actually had the chance to try before. So, this game seems neat, but I've never seen how it's played before. I don't know what it do. So hopefully there'll be lots of people tuning in today who also haven't given Delta Green a chance previously and get a tour de force example of how it can be run. Moving on, we have welcome back to the show. You've seen them previously on Big Bang Superstars. So please welcome to the stage, Vivian.
Hello. I'm Vivian. I use she and her pronouns. I'm about the world. I'm a designer for RPGs. I'm me at genderphage.itch.io. I'm currently working on a Jane Austen / Borges heart hack. So that's coming at some point.
Wild. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Absolutely. And last but absolutely no means least, welcome back to the channel once again for your second session. Kira, hello.
Hey dorks. I'm Kira. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on my podcast, Unsound Theories, and I sometimes also guest on the Chicks with Dice podcast.
Marvelous. And while we have the credits for this session scrolling, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Delta Green is and what our viewers should expect to see in this session, Juicy?
Yes, so Delta Green is a lot like the X-Files, but the Unnatural is serious. Originally, back in the 90s, 1,000 years ago, it was a side offshoot from Call of Cthulhu, but I think around 2012, the game became its own thing. And since then, they've been adding more and more to sort of the overall content to really make it its own. And at its core, it's about people who are part of a secret organization that's sometimes part of the government, sometimes illegal, that is trying to identify and get rid of the unnatural before it destroys everything around us. So we'll all be doing our little part to destroy the unnatural today. We're going to go in the Wayback Machine to 1992. We're going to be hanging out in Western Massachusetts, which is land of free-range lesbians and hippies, at the time then and at the time now. So we're all in good company. We'll be heading to a small town called Westfield, Mass, known as Whip City, which is a weird little place that used to have a lot of industry and no longer does. So when we're entering into this town, it's a post-industrial sort of malaise. That is the vibe we're going with. We might see a few things that might be a little intense today. We're definitely going to see a little body horror. I'm pretty confident in that. We might see some other things like grief. There is loss to experience with NPCs in this game, and we will be facing some of those people if we come across them. Additionally, we will be experiencing some folks who are unhoused, And this is not about sort of cartooning them. It's about showing how a community fails to help itself. So just know that those folks will be treated with respect as NPCs. If you are a little squeamish about body horror, I'm hoping to dole it out in droves today. So we may you may want to take a pause and reconsider. But other than that, I'm hoping to give a fun, scary time and really unleash the unnatural on a few innocent people who know better than to get involved.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I know that I am excited, and I am going to shut up and fade into the background and let this magic happen. Please, everybody, give a warm welcome to Delta Green, Operation Berkshire.
Excellent. So, I'm going to throw on a little bit of music if I can find the right one. I think that's the one I liked right there. So right now, it's 1992. You may not all be in Western Mass. You may be around the northeast of the US. But ultimately, you are part of a secret organization that you get called to occasionally to help fight horrible things that pop up that other people need to not know about. That being the case, you will end up getting clandestine notifications that you've been called for a job. So I'd like to ask each of you in turn, how are you called to this job? Now, on my screen, next to me is C. So C, how are you called to this job?
Oh boy. Angel prefers the more analog methods of communication, especially for things like this. They know how easily paper burns being a firefighter, and so, you know, it's pretty easy to get rid of the missives when they don't want anyone else to know. So they receive a handwritten letter, the same kind they receive every single time something like this happens, and from their little bunk at Jacob's Pillow, where they're working as a part-time firefighter, part-time dance scholar, they put a little bag together, and well, Westfield's not too far from here, so they'll probably be able to make it the next day or so.
All right, excellent. You'll be asked to show up tomorrow at about 10 a.m. All right, moving on to Kira. Who are you playing, and how were you called to the job?
So I'm playing Gwen Harper, and I imagine I get the call. I keep a legion of burner phones, so one of them rings probably super early in the morning one day, and I hate this. But a strange voice gives me instructions, and then I'm off.
Excellent. All right. Bright and early the next day. Now, moving on, next in my list is Draco. Tell me, who are you and how do you get there?
I am David Clark, professor of anthropology, and I think I am at a conference in the Northeast when I get a call from the college that I actually work for, that is kind of has a rotating thing with the anthropology professors in Delta Green of, hey, there's some weird, possibly religious stuff that just happened. Who's the closest? Well, I drew the short straw this time. So, get to leave my conference, cozy, nice conference, to go deal with this nonsense.
Excellent. Do you have to fly or are you driving?
I think I'm driving. I think I'm close enough to drive. Yeah.
All right. And last but certainly not least, Vivian.
I'm playing Rebecca Oostmeyer, who's a veteran of both Delta Green and Federal Agent. Spends most of her time in West Virginia, you know, with all that stuff. And it's just, you know, it's just like happens to be that like the next thing to go along and be like, oh, it's one of them Delta Green missions. And she's just at a desk and it's like, probably someone just comes along being like, you've got to go. Time to move. It's like, oh, Christ. Fine. Get my shit together.
All right. Now, another detail about Delta Green is that most of the time, full-on agents will be working with code names. Now, our characters don't have code names. They're sucked into using their real names. And that means they're ultimately friendlies, which are like half agents. So, Rebecca has seen some shit as a veteran, but most of you will not have seen a ton of the unnatural at this time. So, showing up at 10 a.m. the next morning in a lame 1990s hotel in Western Mass, meeting your handler, Agent Mulholland. Who arrives first?
I would say I will. Always very on time. Perhaps quite early.
Perfect.
Always very professional.
All right. Agent Mulholland is not yet in the room, but you can take a seat in this delightful conference room with its ugly teal chairs, and you can continue to wait. Who shows up next? Are you on time or are you late? How about C?
Oh no, I was thinking that Angel was gonna be super late. So they are late, in fact, but not as late as they thought they would be. In fact, Angel kind of comes scrambling into the room. Like, I think the zipper on their backpack just broke, or like one of the straps just broke. So everything is kind of falling out of their backpack as they're trying to get everything, like shoving a couple like fire resistant pairs of gloves back into their backpack as fast as they can, scrambling as it kind of like goes all over the floor. And they're hey, how's it going? Excuse me. As they just kind of like trip over their own feet trying to get to the chair as fast as they can.
Okay. All right. And let's say Agent Clark shows up next. Let's say it's about 10:30. You're running late.
Yeah. Got caught in traffic, everybody. Hello, hi. Sorry about that. We still waiting on our handler, or?
Still waiting.
Yeah.
Very unprofessional.
All right. Or waiting for everybody to show up. And last but not least, we have Agent Harper.
At this point, Gwen sort of lightly kicks the door open, holding a bunch of coffees, and shuffles in and sets them down on the table. Everybody take your pick. I don't know what y'all like, so, just have at it. Pick at random. Nothing could go wrong.
All right. And then as you sit down, entering relatively quickly is a middle-aged man with graying temples in a very, very precise suit, holding a bunch of documents in his hand in manila envelopes, looking very, very exhausted. And he's going to just go to the head of the table, slap the papers down, and give you all a look over with a roll of the eye before saying thank you all for finally deciding to show up. It's not like this was important or anything today. So we need you because we have an issue nearby. And if I can scroll to my text, I'm in the wrong document. There we go. 4 days ago, Bobby Mason, a 16-year-old son of a Massachusetts state representative, John C. Mason from Westfield, was found dead and mangled in the Westfield River. This is the 7th missing person, the 4th found dead in the last 3 months in this town. We've been called for 2 reasons. This is a potential news fiasco, and there is evidence of cult activity in the recovered bodies. Since the first few missing persons were noted, there have been an increasing rumors in the small city that a local witch coven might be responsible. Some of the unusual markings on the bodies include strange circular wounds randomly distributed on the bodies of the 2 most recently recovered victims, no indications about the state of the kid. The autopsy's due in the next couple of days, and they've been waiting for your team to arrive to participate. Each of the analyzed bodies was stabbed with a crude implement through the heart, and additionally, the coroner found a chunk of unusual marble violently stuffed into the throat of each victim. None of these details have been released to the public yet, but it's only a matter of time given the growing attention from local news. The issue is close to blowing up on national news because of the attachment to the representative for the state, and it's our job to prevent that from happening. Your job is to identify and eliminate any evidence of the unnatural, destroy the vector. Then, close the investigation to satisfy the local press and the local police, give the media the meat they crave without disclosure of the unnatural. And third, prevent the media from running away with the story in a way that includes any evidence of the vector. We recommend first reporting to the Westfield Police Department, as they are participating and leading the local ongoing investigation. Introduce yourselves to the Chief of Police, Bill Jaczynski. After that, it's up to you. Think you can handle it?
Of course.
I don't see any reason why I can't.
All right. Are there any questions?
Why don't we just say it's a fire? And that we don't have the bodies anymore?
For people who were killed at different weeks in the woods,
Forest fires.
that would require forest fires having been reported.
I could put those reports in, you know?
Well, I'm sure, given America's best, you'll find some way to be successful in this endeavor. Anyone with good questions?
Oh, I do have a good question. You mentioned that there were witches involved. Have we considered there may also be aliens as well if somebody's putting crop circles on people?
Your handler's gonna look around the room, sort of paranoid to make sure there are no recording devices. And then he's going to say, the witch thing seems to be rumors. At least verify whether or not it's true. We don't know what this is. It could be anything.
So it could be alien witches. Got it.
Correct. I suppose. Anyone else?
On the note of the circles thing, you'd mentioned that there were circular marks, but you mentioned them separately from wounds. Can you give me any information as to the nature of the marks, or is that going to be better served visually once we do an inspection?
Yeah, he's gonna open up like the pile of papers he has in front of him, and he's going to sort of look through and double check something, and then he'll respond with, yes. So the circular wounds appear to have been received after death. So they're separate from the murder wound. At least that is what the earlier bodies did present as evidence. However, those bodies were in rough condition, given they had been found relatively late after having been dumped in the river.
Gotcha. So it appears they were killed elsewhere and then transported to the river.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions?
Is there any notable local history that, may indicate prior information?
There's no prior trend of murders of this kind or at this scale. This has been a fairly quiet town for some time. The earliest and loudest murder that we have on record was the death of the guy who invented canned food. And that was back in the 30s and appears to be completely unrelated to this.
All right.
I would also kill a guy who invented canned food, yeah.
Yeah, those green beans. Mushy. But neither here nor there. We have for you a vehicle. You'll find everything you need. Should you need them, there are weapons, handguns for each of you, and there is one shotgun, as well as bulletproof vests, should the need rise to use them. You also have documentation to show you were working as FBI consultants and effective agents on this case in order to provide verification to the police who were local. You will note that this paperwork only goes so deep. Try not to arouse suspicion from the police that you may not actually be FBI agents or consultants.
You noted.
If there's nothing else, you may head off to your job and only report back to me. You have my contact information as he hands out this packet of papers. In the case of an emergency, and I'd prefer to only hear back from you when the job is done.
Sounds doable.
All right. And you'll notice in the paperwork that he's listed as Agent Mulholland. You don't know if that's his real name. It's probably not. And he will take his leave if you have no other questions and leave you to your business. So the vehicle you'll find outside of the hotel, the drive is about 30 minutes from, you met in a town called Springfield. So you'll just head down the Massachusetts Turnpike and make your way over. Anywhere you would like to stop at first?
Does tank of gas?
The
car have a full tank of gas?
Oh, yeah, everything's ready for you. Yep.
I'm good.
No, straight to it, I would think.
All right, so he did recommend stopping first at the police station to meet with the chief of police. Is that what you'd like to do? Okay, so you can drive over. Who's driving? Anyone have
If
drive?
nobody takes it, Angel
I-
drives.
All right. How does Angel drive?
Driving.
Angel drives like they drive a fire truck, so a lot faster than they should probably. And they're like, wow, this thing's small, as they're going. They also had at least 2 of the coffees that Gwen brought in, so they're a little jittery. They're kind of excited for this.
Excellent. So instead of 30 minutes, we'll say it takes 20 with the speed at which you're going. You'll go through the center of town, and you'll find the police station on a side street near to the town center. And let me go back over to Roll20, and I will bring you there. So, here is the Westfield Police Headquarters, a small brick building with a few windows in the middle of a few older brick buildings that look like they were built around the turn of the century, back when the town had money. It's just a simple standard building built in the early 90s for municipal purposes. You can go in, and you will find a receptionist who points you to Chief Bill Jaczynski, who, once I can make this a little bigger, hopefully that's on screen properly. Chief Bill Jaczynski is an older gentleman, a little portly. He looks completely bedraggled at his incredibly messy desk. Let's go to the interior of the building, because that's fun. You'll notice everything is very 90s with wood panels and ugly paints. Bringing the chief of police back up for your edification. What do you do when you come to the office of the chief of police?
I mean, unless somebody else wants to take it, I think that our local former agent should probably be at the forefront, since you know the lingo.
Excellent. All right.
Sounds correct.
Okay. So, I guess to start off, the chief of police will greet you. He'll introduce himself. What do you say?
Lovely to meet you. Rest assured, we will make sure to do this as quickly as possible. Get this sorted, get this dealt with. Do not worry. I would just like to confirm that you would give us all access to any and all information you have on the situation. Also, good to meet you, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's gonna sit back in his chair with a big ol' sigh. He's more mustache than man at this point, I think. He's gonna start, he's gonna say, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm very happy to have you here. However, we have an issue, and we need your help. We're incredibly grateful for the support from the FBI, and we will do anything we can to help you solve this, because we at this point are at a loss. We've been juggling too much. Our resources are outstretched, sort of torn between the pressure from the local state representative, who understandably is upset about his son, the actual investigation, which gives us limited evidence and very few leads at this point to identify who the murderer or murderers are, and of course, pressure from the mayor, which he's gonna just sort of sit back even further with like a 1,000-yard stare, who is very, very concerned about re-election and has been pushing us for our cleanup of the town center in advance of voting. So, I can tell you anything you need to know as far as we do. I will say that we have been waiting for you folks to arrive in case you wish to participate in the autopsy of Bobby Mason, Representative Mason's son. He was found in the river a few days ago, as you know, and has been on ice until then. Things have, of course, been crazy lately, and we are doing our best to handle this. So again, I need to reiterate, we are ever thankful for your presence, and we will do whatever we can to support you.
I'm sorry, did you say that the mayor is more worried about you all cleaning up the town center than figuring out a series of brutal, grisly murders?
Well, I will say he is concerned about both, as both affect his poll numbers. However, we have had an ongoing program, and that, of course, has been his bread and butter for about 6 months.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. One thing I will say is there are rumors in town right now. No leaks have actually occurred about what is going on with the investigation, but the town has turned to blaming a local witchcraft store for these events. We don't know where that has come from, but I can point you to the Seven Sisters, a local store owned by Arnold Wicks. I can also point you to our local coroner, whose name actually is beyond me. I have completely forgotten. I hate how this happens. Who, of course, will help you in conducting the autopsy and provide you any information on the case file that you need.
Well, I'll
Much
definitely
appreciated.
be there for the autopsy.
And
Okay, excellent. I can put you in touch with our local coroner, and I can send you on your way. Do you have any questions before I do?
Any local troublemakers we should watch out for? People who might get in the way?
None that I think would be relevant at this time.
Good to know.
the witch shop that you mentioned before, I'm assuming no previous instances of from them. It's just the crowd glomming onto the most likely subject.
No. And he's gonna just sort of shake his head, and his mustache will kind of follow. And he's gonna say, no, they've never been a peep. Not my thing. A little strange to me, but they've otherwise just been nice hippies downtown, not causing a ruckus.
Enough. All right, thank you.
All right, and he'll give you the. He will then walk you over to a telephone next to the secretary at the front door, and he'll give her instructions to contact the coroner, Dr. Steve Hicks. So he can be available in the afternoon or tomorrow morning, depending on your preference, to conduct the autopsy. And what is your preference at this point?
Oh, afternoon, absolutely.
Excellent. Okay. So right now you've probably arrived about 11:30. This conversation has probably taken about an hour. So if you folks want to be ready at about 3, he can be here.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right. So now you have a few leads. Of course, there's the autopsy to conduct. There, of course, is the local store for esoteric stuff and witches. Just to follow up on those rumors as a potential lead, no one has said that it's connected to the murder, but it does keep coming up, so that might be useful. Who wants to do that?
It's like the esoteric store. It's all
Okay.
rolled out.
All right. Is that everybody going? Well, so who's going to stay around, because there's limited time in the afternoon, for the autopsy?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around for the autopsy.
Okay.
Never mind. Then, yeah, staying around for the autopsy. I misunderstood.
I think that Angela is rather squeamish, so they're gonna get the notes on the autopsy and they'll head to the esoteric store.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Rebecca is also used to receiving notes from assorted people, so
Okay, perfect. So, let's first start, I suppose, with walking up to the Seven Sisters. So, what you
think-
see... Oh, what? Sorry.
I just was gonna say, I think on the way, Angel, who's like very clearly like a recent grad, they're maybe 25, right? They are kind of looking at Rebecca with these like big, wide, excited eyes. Like they're like very much like, do you need a coffee? Or and they're like trying to like walk the way that she does, you know, like with like a little more like a straightened back, you know. They're like very much obviously trying to emulate her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink
You know.
coffee? Me neither. I just quit today, just now.
Well, that's good. You've had the requisite training, I hope. Firearms? Criminology?
I'm a firefighter, so
Okay.
I do know fire, and I could do quite a few pull-ups. So, yes,
Well,
I do have firearm training.
I suppose that's useful enough. Do you have any experience with all this witch-related things, the occult?
Oh, I had a girlfriend who was kind of into that once, but yeah, not really. I think the crystals are pretty, but I kind of break stuff if I hold on to it too hard.
And on that note, you walk up to sort of a precious storefront. It's in like a building probably built in like the 90s or 80s for a downtown at the cheapest possible dollar. It's got large windows, and inside you can see a super cozy space for eclectic goods.
Oh, wonderful.
At the front desk, you will find a certain Arnold Wicks. Ooh, there's a weird photo that I'm just going to delete there. Who is an aging hippie with an enormous beard and a kind face. Hello, may I help you?
Good afternoon. Well, we're new in town. I was wondering, what is all well? We're just scoping out things, me and my companion here.
Could I help you with anything?
Saw these rumors going around about witches in the area, and I'm just wondering if you knew anything about any local disturbances.
You hear talk. I don't know exactly what's going on, but the town has gotten cagey since these murders have started happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing to note is that there is a skill called human intelligence. And this is what you would do to determine if someone is lying or telling the truth, to get a sense of, like, reading them to understand what the underlying meaning of what they're saying is. So right now, each of you roll me a human check.
Well, that's just a D100, right?
Yep, a D100. This is a D100 system. Everybody's skills, for the audience, are at a certain threshold, and the goal is to roll under them or at them.
Well,
I rolled higher.
oh, me too. I got an
What is
89.
your- What was it?
I got an 89. My human is 60.
Okay, very close to a fumble, so that's good. And what about our friendly local firefighter? What did you roll and what was it over?
I rolled a 21, but I only have the base rating of 10%.
Yes, so he seems as honest as could possibly be.
Mm.
All right. Yeah. So, yep. Perfectly fine. Perfectly normal. Just a witch store. Do you have any other questions for him? He's sort of waiting for you to give him questions.
I was kind of wondering if you had any rocks that protected against, like, murder? Or something like that?
Murder? No. We do have a number of crystals and stones, semi-precious stones and precious stones for healing, for example, or other magical purposes. And he can sort of wave his arms at a bank of different stones.
Angel goes over and they're actually gonna look to see if there are any stones that are seem to have been particularly depleted. Like if somebody got a lot of a certain kind. Because somebody also said that there was like kind of marble stuck in these people's throats. So I'm looking to see if there's anything like that, and if anything in particular has been very depleted from the shop.
Okay, roll me a search.
Okay, I rolled a 43. What is the normal for search? Search is 20. I rolled above again.
Oh, okay. No luck at this point. And we're going to turn away back to the autopsy. So, Dr. Steve Hicks will arrive looking for you two. Hello. Are you two the ones here to join me on the autopsy?
Indeed.
Yes, my name's Gwen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Gwen, and you?
David Clark.
All right. So let us move over in roll 20 to the autopsy room, because that's a fun place, right? So,
Oh yeah.
So this is a typical old school and current school autopsy room. Let me find our friend Dr. Steve Hicks. Dr. Steve Hicks is a tall, middle-aged man with wiry glasses. He's fairly awkward, but self-assured. He looks like he thinks he knows a lot more than you do, is the general gist of this guy. So I'll ask you both to gown up as he gowns up to prep for the autopsy. He will, before you go in to prep the body, bring it out of the cooler, and lay it out on the table. Is either of you, he's going to ask, a medical doctor yourself?
I'm not
I
a
am.
medical doctor.
You are? Okay.
Military medic, same thing.
All right. Well, for you may join up close. But sir, for the moment, if you are not a medical doctor, of course, be present, observe, but keep a step back in order to make sure that you don't interfere with the investigation.
Of course.
All right. So he will, of course, uncover the body and make a cut from sternum down to groin to begin the autopsy, and he'll start going over his notes and speaking them into a recorder. Currently, there's nothing too confusing or confounding about it. Nothing unusual about his organs in his torso. But he does notice that there's a lump at the throat. And he'll make an incision on the throat. And out he'll pull a largish, crudely carved, rounded stone of green marble. This stone is a dark green with lighter green veins, which he will sort of cluck his tongue at and put on a scale to weigh and put it off to the side. Do you want to do any? Does either of you want to take a closer look at it, or are you going to leave it there for now?
I'm gonna touch it, but I would like to get a closer look at it.
Okay. You don't have any geology, do you?
I don't think so.
That's
No.
fine. All right. It's gonna have a sort of a heft to it, and it's gonna feel slightly oddly warm to the touch, despite the fact that it was in a refrigerator.
Sort of carved glyphs or anything like that on the surface?
You know what? Roll me a
Patterns?
search.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that jam.
Or an alertness, whichever's better.
Ah. Made my macro wrong. How dare I?
What is? Let me find you.
Yeah, that's going to be very much a success on search. My target number was 80, and I believe a double 44 would be a critical in the system, wouldn't it?
Oh wow, you are very lucky at this moment. There are barely perceptible markings in the stone. So, do you have a cult at 40% or higher?
I do have a cult at 40% exactly.
Oh, perfect. So you've seen these before, but you're not sure where. They're vaguely familiar. They're also strange. Do you have archaeology or anthropology?
Archaeology is, or no, excuse me, I have anthropology at 50. I do not have archaeology.
Okay, so you're in luck. You're getting a minor info dump today. So, you're not sure what the stone is called, but you have seen it before. And it's been used in cult worship across the globe. It's usually made into odd statuettes and idols, so it's actually unusual that it's not more artfully carved at this point. Can you roll me and... Oh, what's your unnatural score?
Unnatural?
Yeah, do you have any unnatural? Did you...
I don't believe I did.
Okay, if you don't have it, it's at 0, so that's fine.
Yes.
So nothing there. What is your response to the stone? What do you say? Do you say anything?
That's curious. Just a clarification thing. Does this look like it was unfinished or worn down?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. More like it was crudely carved than anything, though, because marble is soft, but it's hard to tell.
Okay, so badly made, just not... Okay.
Yeah, it looks vaguely intentional.
Assuming that this is the same type of stone that's come out of all of our other victims?
And Dr. Hicks will look at you and say, yes, as a matter of fact, that is virtually identical, although slightly larger for some reason.
Really? Have all the others been of the exact same weight, or has it varied a little bit from time to time?
There's been variation, certainly. You can see it in the case report when we're done here.
Appreciated.
Yes, and then let's see here. So as he opens the throat, right, and takes out the stone, I want to know, Gwen. Take a look here. You have medicine 40%. That's great.
Yeah.
Can you give me an alertness roll?
Alertness. Okay. Yeah. That's gonna be a success.
Okay, great. So what did you get?
I got a 35, and my
Okay.
alertness is 60.
Okay, great. So you're gonna notice that the tissue around where the stout was looks a little odd. It's been desiccated and discolored.
I'm gonna want to take a closer look at that then.
Mm-hmm. Go right ahead. So roll me a medicine check.
That is a 3, and my medicine's 40, so we're good.
Nice roll. Okay, great. So what you'll notice is that there are lines in the tissue around where the stone was. They kind of thread their way around the throat, the inside of the throat, and it seems to be like they're going through the tissue to the other layers of tissue in the neck. What you're finding here is that it looks vaguely fungal. If you've ever seen like microbe plates where they're growing on agar and you get the threads that spread out, but it looks like it's part of the tissue. It doesn't look like it's a microbial growth at all. It's very, very strange and seems unnatural. Can you roll me a sanity check?
Oh. Yeah. How do I roll that one?
So D100. What'd you get?
Yeah, 37.
And what is your sanity?
My current sanity is 52.
Okay, then you take no sanity damage.
Wonderful.
It's strange, but it can't be that weird, can it?
I mean, I've seen worse.
So, after you see this, it definitely doesn't make medical sense. What do?
I'm gonna make a note of this in my my notebook for sure. I'm gonna want a sample of that tissue, definitely. And I'm gonna probably take some pictures.
Dr. Hicks is a little confused. Is there a reason you're taking photos of the tissue?
Well, this is unusual, isn't it?
And he's going to look at it and he's going to remark, "Oh, I hadn't noticed that before. That is strange." Noted. All right, so that will end up going into the formal case file. Given that, you might also want to remark on the markings on the body. So remember that just like it mentioned in the folder of the case file that was given to you earlier, there are odd circular markings randomly placed all over his body. The skin is missing. Roll me a medical check.
Oh, that's gonna be a failure.
What'd you get?
76.
Okay. Then you're just not sure where they came from or how they got there, which is fine.
I mean, it's crop circles.
Say that again?
It's just human crop circles, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the body was dumped in the river for a day or two, so who knows what did that, right? All right.
It's ringworm.
The worst ringworm I've ever seen.
Do either of you have biology?
I do.
What's your biology score?
It's also 40.
It's a 40? You might recognize this, but roll. Give me a roll.
Oh god. Oh no.
No?
That's a
Okay.
77.
Round marks
That's it.
could be bites, could have been taken out with a knife, you're just not sure. Either way, it's odd. Okay. So Mhm.
Just from an observational point, do they look like they're perfectly circular, or do they look uneven in some way?
yes,
shape, or
they
form?
look like they're perfectly circular. The only wound that is different is the one right at the heart, which is approximately 3 inches long and 1 inch wide, and looks like it was a stabbing with a crude implement.
Okay.
hmm And Dr. Hicks will note that you have been sort of observing that green stone. And what he's going to say is, I do have a contact at the local university. Should you need more information, he's a geologist, and I can point you in his direction.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
And he'll give you the contact information for a Dr. Howard Carter.
Carter. Have you previously consulted with him on the other stones that were pulled out of previous bodies?
I had asked him about the green stone, but I haven't shown him examples. After this is cleaned up, you could take this or one of the others from evidence in order to inquire with him for his specialty.
Okay. Make a mental note of that. Probably want to take a look at the other ones that are in evidence as well.
Okay. And then moving back to our friends in the occult store, did you have any other questions for Mr. Arnold Wicks?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask him, like, have there been any unusual purchases lately? You know, on getting a sort of things that you would consider perhaps worrying, perhaps something a little suspicious.
In the store? No. Not lately, not for a while. Things have actually been fairly quiet in the center of town since the police have been working on their cleanup downtown project. Outside of that, there's been really nothing remarkable. Let's see. Can our firefighter friend roll me search again?
Yes, I can. There we go. 19. That is below my threshold of 40.
All right. You find yourself oddly drawn to the stones. There is a green lump of what looks like marble.
Did you say these stones are for protection? And they reach out and take it and hold it in their hand.
And Mr. Wicks is going to look over to you and go, "Oh, yes, that is a green marble. I forget exactly what it's called. That is potent stuff, my friend.
What does it do?
It's used often in dream magic. It can give you potent and sometimes difficult dreams."
Why would anyone want nightmares?
It's less about the nightmares than the potency of the dreams. Especially for those who want to lucid dream, this can become a powerful asset.
I think I'll take this one if it's okay with you.
Are you sure?
Should I not? It seems like it's your last one, right?
Yes, we only carry small amounts of that at any time. It's not particularly common and it's difficult to acquire.
It's it's like my ex-girlfriend always used to say, if it's calling to you, then you should, go for it. And I think it
Okay.
is calling.
Yep. And you'll notice it's an egg shape. It has a smooth finish. And it is a comfortable weight in your hand. So if you want to purchase that, by all means.
Angel does, I think. And then they kind of like tuck it almost like sentimentally into one of their pockets.
All right.
And they look at Rebecca a little bit sheepishly, like they are actually just making a personal purchase on our work trip right now. They're like, it's maybe it'll help. I don't know.
And remember, Delta Green's off the grid. A little personal purchasing is fine. Okay. Do you have any other questions for our good friend, Mr. Arnold Wicks? And his beard.
I was also wondering, this downtown cleanup project and all this work with the mayor, is it? What do you make of it? What do you think of it? How's it being received?
He's gonna roll his eyes. He's happy that the town is a little bit safer looking, a little cleaner looking, but frankly, the way the police have been treating the homeless in town has bothered me. They find them and they often try to remove them. Part of the success of the program seems that they've been making it miserable for anyone who is homeless, and they have to leave.
All right. And how long has this been going on?
6 months is about when the program began, I believe. I sit at every town meeting. He's sort of proud of that, like he's a participant in the community, right?
Civic duty is deeply important to the status of our nation.
Mm-hmm. So, did you have any other questions here? It's been probably about an hour and a half, so we're getting on to like 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. All right. So then, how did you want to meet back up with your partners?
Do we just swing? Oh, you're muted.
Me?
I was unmuting on the wrong site. Here we are.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was gonna say we could probably just go back to the hotel where we've been meeting up to go over everything with everyone, right?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. The hotel you met your handler at? Yeah, absolutely perfect. So that's about a 30-minute drive out of town if you want to head back there. And then our medical friends. Tell me, now that the autopsy has been completed, you've noted as much as you can and done what you can to help Dr. Hicks sort of fill out the report following this. He cleans up the stone and puts it in an evidence bag. Offers to allow you to take it, given that you are working with the FBI, they can trust you with evidence. What do you want to do next? Is there anything you want to do before heading back?
We'll definitely take the stone, and then probably just head back to meet up with everybody.
Okay, all right. So let's presume that you all end up at the hotel somewhere around dinner time. And maybe, I don't know, you meet in one room of yours and order pizza, right? You're faced with a few pieces of information. So through the autopsy, you found a green stone, saw some weird tissue, weird markings on the body, but that wasn't clear, with a lead to a geologist in Westfield. And then at the eclectic store, you found a relatively nice old hippie and a green piece of marble. So discuss. What do you think you should have as next steps?
Real quick question for you.
Yeah.
Before we left the police station, could we have made a call and left a message for that geologist? I'm assuming since it's past 5, they're probably not in the office at this point, but...
Oh, he's an academic. He was probably gone at 3. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Just leave a message saying, hey, had a couple of questions to follow up on for the investigation you asked about recently. We wanted to stop by at some point tomorrow to check in with you.
Yeah, so you can leave a voicemail. You'll know he's expecting you at some point. Hopefully you'll be able to find him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That
was the
yeah,
only thing I wanted
so discuss. What do you think your clues are, and what do you think you should do next?
They brought over the pieces of marble that were in the bodies, right? Or at least one of them?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
I think Angel, upon seeing that, goes, oh, wait, hold on a minute. And they pull out the stone that they bought from the eclectic shop and put it down on the table next to the piece that was in the body to kind of see if they are similar or if it almost seems like one could have been carved out of like a similar egg shape bought from that store, something like that.
And yeah, if you compare them, they look like the same kind of marble. though they're different hues. The one that came from the body of Bobby Mason is a deeper, richer green. The other is more pale.
Did you get a look at any of the other of these in the other bodies? Was there similar, just a difference, or were they all the same? Do we know?
So if you open the case file, if you open the case file, you'll see that they're all similar size, similar kind of crude carvings. There's nothing particularly special about them, at least as far as you can tell. They all just look kind of similar. This just happens to be. Yeah.
Or maybe small experiment. If we drip a little bit of water on the more fresh, uncarved marble, does it darken in any way temporarily, or does it stay the same sort of shade?
On the lighter one, you said? The egg. A little bit like stone naturally does, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing unusual about that one.
Okay. Be blood instead, but not really having a good source on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Opening up.
4 people full of blood here.
Yes.
Oh, well,
and Vivian, what were you gonna say?
Inside.
Witch man wasn't much help, and didn't seem to know much. Didn't seem to have much to say.
Yeah, at least from your experience, you can probably conclude that the witch rumors are just that, rumors. So it's less of a lead than you might have hoped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening the case file, there is additional information that your handler wasn't privy to. Now that you can take the time, you'll find that Bobby Mason disappeared at a party on a weekend shortly after school had ended. So they ended the school year and were sort of having like a junior, senior age party in the woods. He was out with his girlfriend and her friend at the party when he disappeared, and no one knows exactly how he was taken. You have contact information for his father as well, the local representative. And you can find other contact information for other people in Westfield if you need it. Are there any leads you want to pursue for the next day?
Girlfriend and the friend, did they also disappear, or?
No, everyone else at the party was unharmed.
I might want to investigate where the body was found.
Okay, sure.
Earlier in the morning we do that, the better.
Mm-hmm.
It's
All
gonna
right.
suck in the middle of the day.
Yeah, sure. So is there anything else you want to do in this evening before moving on to the next day?
Angel is gonna sleep with their new stone under their pillow.
Are you? Okay. That's fun. I like that.
I love to cause problems on purpose.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You could do far worse. Is there anything else you folks wish to do this evening before turning in and going out to that site? Okay. All right. So you will go to bed with your stone, which is totally fine and absolutely not a problem. And tell me, can you roll a power test? POW. So it'll be
How
5
do I
times
do
power.
that?
Yep, so you should have a stat, POW, which is your power. And can you roll a D100 and try to get under 5 times your power?
Okay. I rolled a 61 and 5 times my power, I believe, is 75. So I do believe I rolled under. Or
Excellent.
15 times 5. I can't do simple math.
That's fine. So, a success. That's interesting. So this is just the one you got in that store. But you do find your dreams are unusual. What you find is you realize in the middle of your dream that you are having a dream. And you suddenly feel like you have power over the world you're experiencing. Let's say you're swimming in the middle of the ocean. surrounded by fish and schools of whales. And underneath you is a city at the bottom of the ocean. And you're just able to move as if flying in the sky.
Angel, I think, just wills themselves down into the city.
Okay.
And looks around it.
And it's unusual. It looks like it's the 1920s in New York, but underwater. And there are like fish people in suits with monocles just walking around with their wives in their big coats. Also fish. There's like a seal street dancer and an octopus selling nuts on the corner.
I am hungry. I'll get some peanuts to go.
Excellent. There you go. And we'll say you wake up just as you're taking a bite of that hot underwater peanut.
And bite my pillow a little bit, I think.
Where was the other stone, by the way?
Somebody else wants to hold on to it. I think David would have kept it in the evidence bag and probably put it in a briefcase. Just because that's weird.
Yeah. That was in your room, right? That's in your room? Okay. Can you roll me a power test?
Sure.
Hmm.
Let's find out. Oh, nope. That's a 73 out of 60, so that is not a success.
So close, and yet so far. What you find is you have unusual dreams too, but you have no control and it's distantly recognizable. Most of what you see is darkness and whispering, slithering noises around you. You feel like you can move, but you're going nowhere. And there are just in the distance, blurry, out of like clear sight, writhing and moving masses, but you can't make out what they are.
Oh god, it's the 10-year dream all over again. Oh no.
How do you react in your dream to this?
I think there's quite a bit of flailing initially after that realization of not being able to move anywhere. Then after a while, just kind of calming down and trying to take in as much of it as I can, then knowing that there is next to no possibility that I will actually remember any of this when I wake up.
Okay. All right. And then that just continues, and maybe the tension escalates as you're dreaming when you realize that you have very, very little control. So can you roll me a sand test
Sure thing.
for help with that?
Sure thing. Could be another D100. Oh,
What was
that's
it?
a 98 out of 60.
A 98. Oh, almost a fumble. So what we're going to say is you're going to be at a minus 10% for all physical activities today.
Okay.
When you wake up, it will be like you did not rest.
Okay.
Nightmares suck.
They suck.
All right. So the alarm goes off. Each of you has to get up and get ready to go look for a body recovery site. Which is, I will note, different than the site where he disappeared.
Mhm.
If you look on a map of the town, which, do I actually have one for you guys? I don't think I do. If you look at a map of the town is mostly like a tilted square shape. And it's bisected in the middle by a river. The center of town is right smack dab in the middle. There's a bridge that crosses each side of town right in the center. So off to the west is where where Bobby went missing. And then about a mile and a half downstream towards the east is where the body was found in a golf course. Well,
We could
at a
probably
golf
do
course.
both. We're pretty close.
Yeah, they're fairly close. Yeah, within walking distance by a trail, or if you want to go down river, absolutely. So where did you want to go first? You wanted to go to where the body was found?
I certainly do. I probably also want to look at a map and see if there's any like obvious route that someone who was carrying a body might have taken between where he was abducted and where he was found?
Yeah, as far as you can tell, and based on the case reports, he went missing somewhere near the western edge of town, along the river in the woods. There's a spot where kids go to party, and that's where they were. Additionally, the body itself was found on the other side of the river, on the banks of the river at the edge of a golf course called, I think we can call it Toccoa Country Club. And there, he was just sort of floating along in the rocks and the reeds when an early morning, like, middle-aged golf guy found his body. Caddy freaked. Yeah. So they're connected ultimately by the river, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were connected at the same time, largely because the body was found about 4 days after he went missing.
Dump, then it was a slow float.
Is the bridge in between those two places?
No. So the town itself is probably 10 miles wide. So, and it's like right in the middle. So if you look at the map, he went missing somewhere near the western edge, and then he was found halfway between the western edge and the bridge.
Cool. I was gonna say maybe we could check underneath the bridge if it was somewhere he would have passed, but it doesn't seem like that's so.
Yeah. And then, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Is the golf course, popular? Could we assume that, are we thinking like, got stuck there, waited there, or would it have been like, if the body had been there 2 days later, it would have been found 2 days later? It's popular enough where there's always someone around, and it does abut the river. That's sort of a feature of the landscape there for the country club. So someone would have found it by the morning it had been it had arrived. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if that's where you wanted to go first, you can pile into your FBI black vehicle and head over there. When you get there, you can walk up to the front desk in the main building, and there is a young woman with a perm and big glasses, huge nails, and she's just sitting at the desk going through books because this is 1992. She doesn't have a computer. She's waiting to take phone calls.
Hi, we're here to play around.
Are you members
Of the FBI? Yes.
She's just gonna pause and look at you for a moment, and I'm unsure how that's relevant. I just wanted to know if we were charging you today.
We're new in town. We're not members.
Okay, so that'll be $20 each. And do you have your own clubs?
No.
No. If we could
No.
have some.
No.
Okay, then that will be $50 a piece.
We could all share one club. We could all share one. It's fine.
I'm gonna sort of clutch her pearls. These are not people who belong here. And then, she's gonna go, okay, sure. Do you require a caddy service? That's an extra $30, and we do encourage tipping. Okay, well,
we can hoof it.
Sure. So golf carts are complimentary. We do ask that you return them to the space. And she's gonna like turn around, and on the wall there's gonna be like a bank of keys with numbers on it. And she's gonna grab 14 and hand you key 14. It's got a little diamond-shaped tag that says the number on it. You'll find in parking spot 14 there is golf cart 14. Have fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then she's gonna return to clacking her nails as she goes through the books. after taking your information, etc. So you have a golf cart, you have clubs, and you've spent money. What do you want to do?
Play golf.
All right. So we'll say that you have to play through to hole 7 before you are able to find a spot that matches the description in the case report. So I would like everyone to roll me an athletics test.
Oh God.
So
I
starting
rolled 100.
Oh, okay. You've lost several balls at this point. And there are people staring just at other holes as they realize they've never seen anyone play golf this poorly before. All right.
It's
what
all
about
swing, no hit.
The thing is, you have to rotate. You need to keep your body in rotating.
I am rotating. I'm
No.
a dancer. I can rotate. They swing all the way around with the golf
Not
club.
like that. Your spine. You need to rotate around the spine. It's like a turn, like this. You see? Do you see how I'm moving my body as I swing? I got a success on my test.
Oh, what did you roll?
I got a 38 and 50 athletics.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And Agent Harper, Gwen,
I
how'd you
got a success also. I got 17 and my athletics was 30.
Beautiful. All right. And then last but not least, Agent Clark, how'd you roll?
32 out of 50. So another success.
So, wow, everyone has a reasonably good game. Although Agent Osmeyer definitely has stayed much closer to par than the rest of you. You might even be actually managing to do better than some of the people you can see playing. You've done this before. This is not your first golf game. And unfortunately, poor Angel, they have not managed to keep a ball once. And most of this is just pitiably moving you from hole to hole until you can get to 7. So you get over there, and what you find is there's really nothing left. It looks like the police reviewed and cleaned the site. The photographs of the site match what you're looking at. It's a slight bend in a slowly moving, pleasant river. Trees sort of create a frame for the space as you're looking at a bank of rocks with some light grass. Is there anything you want to do here?
Check the depth of the river here to see if it's actually deep enough to have carried a body, or if it really and truly looks like this is kind of a doldrums situation where they dumped the body and it couldn't have gone anywhere.
So here it's not crazy deep, but it's definitely deep enough for a body to have floated downriver. This is a spot where the water's probably like 10 to 12 feet deep in the middle. And it's a river probably 50 to 60 feet wide. So, a reasonably sized river, but not huge.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like a place because you're on the inside of a curve of a turn in the river where a body would have sort of floated to and got caught on the bank.
Okay. So either plausible deniability or just exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Everyone give me... Oh, no, what were you going to say? No, go for it.
Angel was just gonna say, well, it is interesting that conceptually, if they dumped the body here, this is a place where it would be found. It's almost like they wanted it to be found eventually somewhere populated, like they weren't actually trying to get rid of it.
Okay.
They said 7 missing persons and 4 bodies found was right.
Yes, not all of the bodies have been found, and those that have been found near or on the river at different points.
Mm-hmm.
All of them on the west half of town.
Okay.
Yep. I guess roll me an alertness or a search if you're going to actively search the space.
Okay.
Who's 68?
38.
All right, so 2 successes. So what I'll say is that you note that there's really nothing to report on here. The body was found here, but it doesn't seem like there's anything special about this spot. and likely you conclude, given the bend in the river, that the body was not placed here. That it floated downriver gently until it careened into the bank of stones.
So, if we were to play more holes, does that put us further upriver to kind of casually investigate further up, or are we going to have to divert from a path?
You'd probably have to divert because, like, the river comes in a slow bend here, and there's a sort of a steeper arc of the golfing green, because they don't want to put too much of the golf course next to the river. Too many balls get lost, right?
Yeah. Eventually, no more river, but
Especially angels. So, you've investigated this spot. You did reach out to the geology professor at the local university. You also mentioned that you wanted to potentially go to the site where Bobby went missing. What would you like to do next? You're probably at about
Split up
midday now.
again.
Split up? You could do that.
Mhm.
All right, who wants to go where?
I'll go see the professor. That feels right.
I think Angel will also go see the professor. I have
Okay.
a vested
great.
interest in their new rock.
All right. So we'll presume that one of you has a personal car with the FBI car, so you can split up. So, what do you want to talk about in the vehicle on your way over to the college?
So, it seems like you're a recent graduate. What department did you come from?
Oh, I was a dance major at Smith. You kind of seem like a teacher, though.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of things. I'm a professor of anthropology. I specifically deal with South American cultures, but pretty much any religious paraphernalia is within my bailiwick. I'm really wishing that I'd paid a little more attention in my archaeology courses when I was getting my degree on this one, but I remember enough, right?
Is that why Delta Green picked you up?
Generally the college kind of helps out with these sorts of investigations to make sure there isn't anything untoward going on. Back where I come from, we have a lot of voodoo and other syncretic practitioners, and usually when we get called out, it's just a case of making sure that the remains were acquired legally instead of taken from various sources. But every once in a while we get one of the weird ones, and here we are. How about you? What brought you out as a dance major?
Oh, I mean, this is one of my first missions. It's
Okay.
fine. I'm yeah, no, I can totally do this. I can.
We all have to start
I saw
somewhere.
something. Yeah. I saw something weird in a fire once. I'm a volunteer firefighter, so
Okay.
I went in and I don't really remember what happened inside, but when I woke up, I was just sitting in the ash in the house. So
Really?
then I started getting these, the letters from this place.
Fair enough.
All right. So let's say you make your way over to Westfield State College, and you find yourselves looking at a very green quad with brick buildings all over. Classic New England, but some of its newer construction. And you make your way over following directories to the geology department, where you're pointed to a professor of geology, the one you left your message with. And this you will find here Dr. I believe Howard Carter, who is an amiable fellow of African American descent. He's a little portly and a little disheveled and super eager to hear your questions. He, of course, was intrigued by your call, always wanting to help, an investigation along, and curious how he, a geologist, needs to get involved.
Well, first off, thank you for your time. I know that we're right in the middle of a busy class season, so I hope we're not interrupting anything or taking you away from anything.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So, why exactly does the FBI need my services today?
Well, as the was it sheriff or was it chief?
Oh, chief of police. Chief.
Okay. The chief mentioned that he'd already contacted you in regards to some pieces of evidence that have been pulled up from some of the recently deceased missing in town. And I had just had some questions about that.
Yes, the serpentine green marble. Yes. Very rare.
Serpentine green marble. Okay. So not from around this area then.
Actually, some of it is. It is rare, but there was a time when it was mined in town.
Really?
Yes.
Town.
Yes. Well up into the 30s or 40s, I think. Actually, it was distributed all over the country. It was very famous at the time. You'd find it in the Empire State Building and a number of other large early 20th century buildings very prominently. It's notable for its rich dark green color.
Okay, interesting. Does it come in a variety of shades and hues, or is it mostly a consistent specific green?
Serpentine marble, depending on where it's found, can be variable, and marble always is, of course, variegated, right? That's notable and part of what makes it marble. The local marble, to my recollection, was generally speaking darker than you might find elsewhere, though there is variation globally.
Okay. You happen to bring the one that you purchased with you?
Yeah, I've been keeping it in my pocket. Angel pulls out their piece. And this is that type of stone, right?
And he'll take it and look at it, and he will then go to his desk and dig through books to find the right reference guide, and he'll open it up and search and go, this does not appear to be a local specimen, though it is a fine specimen of serpentine green marble. This may be Ural from Eastern Europe into Russia, or could have been mined in Southeast Asia, we'll say, based on the comparisons here, but it's hard to tell.
Okay. So the local variant would be darker than you said, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. A couple more questions then. Where in town, was there a specific quarry that this stuff was taken up from, or is there any still active site that maybe is producing a smaller amount yearly, or that a hobbyist might go to try and find some?
Can you give me what's called a luck roll? It's a 50-50 shot. Below 50 will be a success.
Good to me. Yeah, 41.
All right. So what he'll say is, I don't know the location, but I do remember the name. Atwater.
Yeah.
Atwater Marble Mine, if my recollection serves. I could, if you give me a day or two, find the USGS data. I do have access to find the location of this mine, but it will take time.
Absolutely, that would be wonderful. Thank you. A follow-up to that one.
Yes.
Obviously, there are a large number of New Age religions that have kind of glommed onto using crystals and various stones for things.
Yes.
Everybody has their own belief system. That's what I would firmly say. Do you have any knowledge of a historical usage of such stones in such practices? Not just New Age, but as you said, this was mined in the 30s and 40s. Is there something from that era? Even if it's something as silly as Aldous Huxley's issues.
I would be unfamiliar. That's not my area of expertise. However, you could speak to Dr. Rebecca Waitley, who here is a professor of anthropology, who would be able to help you. She does specialize in unusual religions, to my knowledge. I don't know her very closely personally, but we do meet at occasion in staff events, things like that.
What was that name again?
Dr. Rebecca Waitley.
Rebecca Waitley or Wheatley?
Whately. Whately.
Okay. Out of curiosity, would I have bumped into this person at a conference previously? Since we are both in the same specialty area.
You know what? Let me think about that. Why don't you give me a roll? I like the idea of this being a roll. Let me take a look. What can we roll for? Why don't you just give me a bureaucracy roll?
Bureaucracy roll.
Yeah.
Oh, delightful.
Oh, I didn't hear you. You might have been muted. No sound. By your face. There you go. There you go.
Okay. 36 out of 41.
Beautiful. So what we'll say is yes, you know the name. You may have met Dr. Whately in passing, but also you've read some of her publications. You're familiar with them.
Okay.
She's done some work in South America.
Excellent. Okay. Like I've taken up the floor for long enough, so if somebody else would like to go before we...
Yeah, and actually what I was going to say is we're going to go over to our other two friends. So you will actually drive down the road about a mile. You'll come to a bridge. That is actually a bridge for the Mass Pike. It's a very high one, very large, that goes over the river in a gulch between a few hills that are... So I should note that Westfield is actually at the foot of the Berkshires. So on the western edge is where the hills are. So you can go there. And there's like a parking spot on the side of the road and a path going in that matches the description in the case file that you read the other night.
Seems this is the spot.
Yeah, well, we should definitely look for any signs of a struggle or anything like that.
Okay, so you can walk down the path and you'll see a classic woods party site for kids, like beer cans from the 90s sort of strewn haphazardly around the place, a couple bottles. There's a fireplace that, you know, in the last couple of weeks has been used, but it doesn't look like it's been used much. Part of that is probably because there's police tape on the perimeter of the party site. So kids, especially after the disappearance of Bobby, having known him, have avoided this spot for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Or 2 weeks. So if you would want to search, feel free to roll me a search check.
Nothing could go wrong.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
So good at searching.
Okay. Search.
Yeah, I did real bad.
Okay. All right. So a success. Okay, great. So there's nothing immediately here that you would find, but based on the case file, you would know that Bobby had gone off from the party into the woods for whatever reason on his own. And you can see a small path leading off to the side. So if you want to go down there, roll me another search or alertness, whichever's better. Because you're actively looking, but you could passively see something too.
Ooh, I got my number. 77.
Okay. You just hit it. Okay.
Nice.
And what about Agent Harper?
Not good. Didn't do it.
Okay, so you will notice that there's sort of a trail that ends. Who knows where it was intentionally going to, but there does appear to have been a struggle here. It also doesn't look like the police really looked here very hard, because none of the evidence has been trampled or like cordoned off. And what you can see is a couple small trees have been sort of knocked down, and something was dragged away, but it was dragged kind of parallel to the river, and then it disappears.
Huh. So we've got a struggle.
Yeah.
We have that they haven't noticed. We have this up against the river. Um. I mean,
Is there any blood?
Not as far as you can see, no.
Okay.
Yeah, broken branches, but it doesn't look like any blood fell here as far as you can tell. I mean, you particularly did not have a strong search roll here, but Agent Usmeyer also didn't find any either with that successful search. So what you're looking at is at some point, someone came out this way, there was a struggle, and they were dragged. But then the trail of evidence kind of disappears. As if it lifted off into the sky.
Well, I think this means we're going to have to question the friends for sure.
yeah. Wouldn't it? Is there a way of saying how many people are here, like for footprints or how much?
It's hard to tell with the underbrush here, but it doesn't look like this is a well-trodden path. Give me an alertness roll.
It's a no from me.
Really?
Also a no.
79 out of 70.
And it's just you're not sure why anyone would come over here, but someone did, and then something got dragged. And you can probably guess, as no one's been here, that might be related to the disappearance. But that's about where this goes.
I love to roll dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's not too much to say, but yeah, I agree. The friends is probably the place to go next.
All right. So at this point, we're in mid-afternoon, probably about 2:30 or 3 between the conversation with the geologist and you two looking around in the woods, having a hard time finding anything and really trying to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. It probably took a few hours.
Snaps.
Yeah. So after that, if you want to follow up with friends, that's excellent. And then did the other two, did you want to follow up and try to find Professor Waitley?
While we're here.
All right.
May as
So,
well.
yeah, right. So why don't we go back to you now? He can point you to the right building. You can follow directories over to where her office is. Can one of you roll me luck?
I'm gonna roll this one. You haven't gotten a chance to do that.
Angel's luck. Let's
Roll
go.
the success.
Oh my god, a 53.
Oh,
She's not in her office right now. She's probably teaching a class.
Is there
like
a?
list of... No,
Go
go
for
ahead.
it. Okay. I was just gonna ask if there was a departmental secretary we could leave a note with.
You absolutely can. And when you speak to her, you'll find that Professor Waitley will be back in about an hour to an hour and a half after her current class.
You'd like to do while we wait, or do you think we should reconnect with the others?
If you want to speak with her today, you probably have to just hang around and twiddle your thumbs for a bit. And in the meantime, agents Oostmeyer and Harper can track down probably Bobby's girlfriend, might be a good first contact. And she can be available if you end up going to her home. And on that moment, why don't we take a break? We'll be back in a few.
Indeed, a return from the ether. Well, this is a gripping thing so far. The dice rolls both giveth and taketh away. Goodness me. I also need to sleep with a piece of ominous green marble underneath my pillow so I can sleep properly. That's like
Have good
trying
dreams
to-
about fish. Nothing could go wrong.
What drug is this? I'm not quite sure. I'll take it and then I'll know. Excellent. We will see everybody in 5. Be right back.
Thank you.
And we are back with more Delta Green, Operation Berkshire. A glimpse of the 90s I never knew I remembered. Maybe my memory of the 90s wasn't quite like this. This feels a lot more realistic than what is in my head. But I will once again hush up and let the investigation continue.
Okay, welcome back. So we're going to depart from the woods underneath the bridge, and we are going to head over to the girlfriend of Bobby Mason, Audrey McKinnon. So you'll drive up to the most 90s house you can think of. It's probably a split-level ranch with an extension in the back. It's, I'm gonna guess, white-colored with black shutters, big lawn. Her parents clearly are doing well. When you knock on the door, her mother answers, clearly a nervous, frantic woman at this point, given recent history. And of course, she will go get Audrey, and you can meet with her in the living room. Audrey is a high school junior going into her senior year in the middle of summer. She has a perm, a loud sweater, and a big smile, or she would, but she's dealing with something right now, given that her boyfriend recently disappeared and his corpse just was found on the side of the river in town. So she's eager to answer your questions, but she has already been questioned by the police. What do you do?
Yes, hello, Audrey. My name is Gwen. I'm here as part of the investigation team into what happened. What I'm wondering from you is, do you remember anything odd happening the night your boyfriend went missing? Other than obviously your boyfriend going missing, that's pretty odd. But
No, I already spoke to the police, but we were all at a party. Some of us were drinking. Bobby got up to go to the bathroom, walked into the woods, and then he didn't come back.
did you hear anything?
No. The party was loud, but there wasn't anything I really was paying attention to. People get up and go, and I was busy talking to my friends. Like, it didn't occur to me to pay that much attention. He just said he was going off to go to the bathroom, and that was it.
That is interesting, isn't it?
Do you know what happened? Do you have any idea who the killer is?
Well, that was going to be my question for you. Do you know anyone who might have a problem with Bobby, or might want to hurt him at all?
No. I mean, he was popular. He played sports. Like, no, nothing that I can think of. He didn't do anything crazy.
Well, Audrey, you do have to understand that we're entirely here to help, and that's why we do need you to be fully honest with us. Be like, is there anything that Bobby got up to that worried you, or you had some concerns about, or perhaps was missing on certain days and wouldn't tell you about?
No. He was normal.
And obviously there's all these rumors going around the town that it's something to do with, it sounds silly, but witches and their shop. Was there any connection between Bobby and them and that shop? Have you heard anything about this? Does it remind you of anything?
Do you think they're involved? Is that what this is about?
Rumors often contain a grain of truth, and so it makes sense for us as investigators to pursue every angle, whether or not we believe it might have something to do with it.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't think he had anything to do with them. But you think that they're the ones who did this?
Having talked to them, it doesn't seem too much, but it's just important to know all the details.
No, I can't think of anything. I don't know what happened. Roll me a human. Unless you have like over 60 in humans. Let me know if you do.
I have 60.
Yeah, she's
40.
telling the truth. She's telling the truth. She doesn't know what happened. He definitely got up to like go take a piss or something and disappeared. And no one noticed because it was a party, so she just assumed he was around talking to someone else. And then after a few hours, like when it was time to go home, they realized he was gone, and by that point, it was too late.
It's interesting that she didn't hear anything
Yeah.
when
we found
did find out that it's a struggle.
Hmm.
Right, something lumbered, right? And there was a struggle, but if, say, Bobby couldn't scream out, there was no way she would have heard him with all the noise, right? Because it's kids with like a boombox. Everyone's probably drunk and screaming. So
Yeah.
there wasn't really, yeah.
Although we have the wound that was the murdering blow, which perhaps if that was done would stop any screaming to begin with, which makes it feel very deliberate and specific.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey, do you remember seeing anyone at the party who you don't typically see at these parties?
No, it was the usual crew. I was there with Bobby and Audrey and her boyfriend, and it was basically half of the football team and everybody who hangs around with them. There was no one unusual there, no one new.
Is anyone missing who you maybe expected to be there?
No. Again, it was the normal crew. There wasn't really anyone notably missing, and there wasn't anyone weird.
Well, we will need a list of other people who were out in the woods with you at the time. But thank you for
Okay.
speaking with us.
Yes, we're
Okay.
aware. It's a difficult time, we're sure, and thank you. We'll try to get to the bottom of it as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you. I guess. Thank you. And she's just upset. Like, she doesn't know what to make of any of this. And she's a little confused by your questions. And with your human, you know, she's going to go start talking about those witches. She's assuming that you think that they're murderers. So if that was on purpose, well done. And if it wasn't on purpose, but that's what's going on there. Great. So now let's pivot back over to the local college, where our friends, Agent Clark and there you are, Pengast. I love that last name. I haven't even said it once yet. Have been in search of Dr. Rebecca Waitley, and she's been teaching. So you've been twiddling your thumbs for the last hour and a half, and finally she walks up. The secretary introduces you, and she's like, hello. Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Dr. David Clark. I work for the Florida Technological Institute. We haven't met in any more than passing before, but I have read several of your papers, particularly the piece on clarification of the connection between Yucatec modern and the classical version. I thought that was just brilliant.
Roll me a luck.
Seven.
All right. Oh, yes. I think I read your paper on Mesoamerican cults leading into the 17th century. That was you, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't just me. I can't take full responsibility for the paper, but I hope you found it enlightening and that maybe it have nudged a few things in the proper directions for some of your research as well.
Yeah, of course. And I'd be happy to speak with you. Come into my office, which is messy as all heck.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You will notice she's a taller, slender woman with big, wiry hair, much of the early 90s, right? With the bangs. She's the kind of woman prone to caftans and wooden beads, and big earrings made of feathers and leather. Her office is strewn with papers and artifacts from her travel. She has photographs of herself like across the globe, looking at different locations. Some of that looks like personal photography, like she has taken some photography. And she's just happy to chat.
So not here to talk shop in the most pleasant of ways today, unfortunately. So we had some questions about some marble that had been mined locally and whether it was ever used in any sort of religious context that you were aware of. Not exactly an area.
Do you have an example?
Yeah.
Do we want to show her yours, or do we want to show her the one that came out of the body? And I think this is kind of an important decision for us to make, because I don't know necessarily if we want to show her the real thing, but also could get bad results if we don't show her the real thing, you know? What do you think?
I say let's go for it. We need a little something here, I think.
Then I'll go ahead and take it out. I'll say that this is part of an active investigation, so full archaeological treatment by preference, please.
Of course. And she'll take it and she'll look at it, and she's like, "Oh, this is interesting." As she's turning it over in her hands, she goes, "Did you notice the inscriptions on this?"
Yes, but I'm not entirely familiar with them. They obviously have some level of significance, but they look crudely done to me in any case.
Yeah, this is very roughly done. Do you know how old this is?
Have not been able to accurately age it. It was, let's say, found in situ with a person who was recently deceased.
Okay, interesting. She's gonna go and like try to capture a rubbing of the stone with paper and like graphite on her desk. And she's like, "Yes, I'm happy to look into this. This is fascinating. I can't get you an answer now, but if you give me a day or two, I can absolutely help you. This does look familiar to me, but it's just I'm not sure exactly what this is."
Of course. Does it feel like she's being forthright with this?
What's your humint?
My humint is 50.
Yeah, she's intrigued. She's
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like from what she's saying, you can tell that she's never gotten her hands on this before, so she's fascinated because she's seen like references before, and it's not in her core body of work, but it's like tangentially related, so she knows of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and she's gonna point to like a series of books she has. Like, I will do some research, and I can do my best to get back to you by tomorrow, at worst the day after.
Okay. Do you have a particular time of day that you're most available? And we don't have to actually like set a specific time, but like, yeah, we can go through the.
Give me a phone call by tomorrow midday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any questions for the professor while we're here? Maybe something a different angle that I haven't thought of.
Well, I mean, is there anything else here? I mean, you're studying specifically here, your area of research. Is there any reason that you were drawn to this area in particular?
Mostly it was the tenure track. And I really appreciate the direction of this department. Most sociology and anthropology departments don't really focus on esoteric cults and religions. So I don't really have many places to go where I can really find a space that I like. This, on the other hand, has a great team, and I'm happy to be here.
Really?
Of course.
Interesting. Was that a recent development, or has this college's department had that sort of a focus for long?
No, the department had just supports going into sort of a step to the left in sociology and anthropology. He prefers to challenge our ideas and expectations about cultures and religion, and I'm happy to be part of that endeavor.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Always looking forward and trying to find other ways to think about the world.
Well, I'm happy to hear it. And thank you for including me. This is a fascinating question. I will do what I can to give you some answers by the next day.
Okay. Can I get the stone back, however?
Oh, of course. That's why I took the rubbings. Here, please, by all means.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Put it back into the evidence bag and make a note that it was handled by somebody else, just for chain of custody, all that.
Yeah, excellent. Yep, and I suppose that's enough for now with her, right? At this point, you're probably at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. The day is starting to wane. Your interview with Audrey has also ended at about the same time. What do you want to do next? Do you want to meet up in town? You did notice that there was like a diner downtown. That's something easy to grab before you head back to your hotel. A little better than
To
hotel
the
room.
diner.
All
The
right.
greasy spoon.
Yes. So, by all means, I just was excited to show you pictures of diners because they're fun. Because it's a fun place to convene. So, I guess now that you have your findings for the day, what do you want to discuss?
Well, we didn't
Well-
find shit all, frankly.
Yeah, girlfriend
I'm
knew
starting
nothing.
to get a little frustrated.
Agent Harper, your shoes are covered in mud from the forest.
Oh, yeah. Didn't find much there either. We had signs of a struggle, but
Mhm.
apparently nobody there heard anything.
We talked to the girlfriend who didn't hear anything, and he just wandered off and didn't hear any sign of anything. And didn't know anything about any of this witch stuff at all. It's
We found some interesting things out about the mines, actually. Or about the rocks. This one, and they take out the one that they had got from the crystal shop, it isn't actually from around here. It's probably from wholesale that the crystal shop gets or whatever.
Mhm.
But the ones that we found in the body are likely mined from this region particularly. There used to be a mine of this particular, the gem, here in town.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking that hopefully we can get our feet on the ground there. See if, I mean, that's a great spot for a hell coven to hide out if I ever heard one. Or at least we could see if
Absolutely.
anyone's been sneaking around there getting this material, if not from the crystal shop, which it doesn't seem like they are.
To add on to that, I did think of a couple of other questions that I wish we had thought of while we were doing the autopsy. Maybe you could provide some insight. Just it's not my area of specialty, but things pop into mind, you know. When you were looking at the corpse, did you notice any damage to the teeth? I'm mostly wondering if was the stone sort of forced down the throat, or did it appear like did it just appear there? Were there any signs that it had been forced down, maybe swallowed, or anything like that? Towards our medical
That's a good
practitioner
point.
here.
Is that something I would have noticed?
Oh, absolutely, especially because you really dug in. If you go back and look at those photos, for example, if you have them within the case file with you, the teeth were not necessarily broken, but the jaw was. The jaw on one side had become unhinged. And there
Yeah.
was straining on the mouth at the cheek, as if the skin had almost been torn.
Yeah, it definitely looks like someone forced this thing down his throat. So he wasn't a willing participant for sure.
Okay.
Which would explain why there was no screaming.
There's no screaming.
That's what we
Ah.
we were quite. We went off on the path to where clearly some sort of scuffle happened, and it was
Mhm.
not right next to, but it's sort of relatively close to where the party was, and
Okay.
and they didn't hear anything at the party, so it seems that while there was evidence of a struggle, it wasn't anything to do with. It wasn't picked up on, which there was, music playing and all that, but not quite enough to hide a horrible screaming if it had been that. But if fits with these things, I suppose.
If you've got an Eldritch ball gag going on, then it would certainly quiet things down a little bit.
I really did not expect to hear Eldritch ball bag. Excuse me. Sorry. I'll stop. Shove a couple pancakes into their mouth as fast as possible.
Expecting to hear Eldritch ball gag or Eldritch ball bag today, so I win.
And Rebecca is stone-faced through all of this.
So, is there anything you want to do the rest of the evening?
I think Angel suggests that we all go out to the bridge or to a park near the river to watch the sunset, just to like see what happens kind of on the river when it starts to get darker, because the river has something to do with this, whether it's somebody dropping off bodies or bodies coming down. There's some connection there.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a park right next to the bridge, a small, like, World War II memorial park, if that's where you want to go.
That seems like a good call.
All right, and this is good timing after, I assume, eating and discussing. It's probably getting to about 8:30, and at that time, the sun will start to go down. So you're at this small green. There's the bustle of vehicles going across the bridge, stopping and going, the occasional honk. The main street right behind you also gives you a little bit of white noise from the vehicles. You can kind of hear the river going over the rocks underneath the bridge. What do you do?
I think Angel heads down to the water's edge to start skipping stones, looking for anything like graffiti underneath the bridge that looks a little bit more occult or arcane. If there are any other like masses where bodies might have gotten trapped, where it looks like something might have been dragged down there to be released and then like pulled back up. Anything.
Okay. So one thing you'll notice first is that this is downstream of where the body was found. So it wouldn't have floated upstream, right? What you do notice, though, is that there was a camp for homeless folks under the bridge, but all of the tents were destroyed. So it's just a pile of trash at this point. The water moves swiftly here, and it's rocky, so there's a lot of white noise. What do you do now?
There was an encampment here, and the man in the shop was talking about the cleaning up the streets being focused towards the homeless. Perhaps there's an angle.
That started about 6 months ago, didn't it? When did the first murder happen?
The murder started about 3 months ago. And they've been happening every couple of weeks at this point, given the time.
Yeah.
Do we have any way of possibly correlating local encampments with locations of the murders, or
They would be undocumented, but usually you could presume, like, camps of folks who are unhoused would be like often under bridges if they're safe, right? Alleys, places behind buildings, which there would be spots in the middle of town where it's the busiest and the densest, but the town itself is mostly semi-rural outside of the center of town.
I guess follow-up to that then, have any of those reported missing been unhoused people?
No, actually, of the 7 folks, there's Bobby, right? 3 of them were out-of-towners who were hiking in the hills on the western side of town. On the map, everyone who disappeared did disappear west of the bridge, upriver from you.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, 4 out of the 7, so about half, but a little more, were on the southern side of the river, not the north.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry to hog time with questions, but one last question. It is, if we look at records of where, or I guess we don't really have records right now, but if we look at where previous encampments have been cleared out, is there a suspicious lack of encampments in the area that most people have gone missing from?
Oops, say that again. I apologize.
Is there a suspicious lack of encampments in the areas people have gone missing from? As if the unhoused people are avoiding those locations.
Well, they're all outside of the center of town, so there aren't a lot of unhoused people there, right? Yeah, people who are homeless tend to congregate around the center of town. That's access to the resources they need to live. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was a good. I think it was a good ask.
Oh, absolutely. No, that was a really good question.
And the where the party was that on the south side or the north side of the river?
That was almost against the river, just on the south side.
Okay.
As we're kind of waiting in this park, are there any people in unhoused people like coming back to look through any of the stuff that had been trashed before? Is there anyone else around that we could maybe talk to?
In this spot, not really. It looks like this was toppled a while ago at this point, at least a month ago. So it's all kind of like sun bleaching. Yeah. And some of it has been washed away by the river in heavy rain.
Gotcha. I think Angel finishes trying to skip rocks on a river, which is actually, you can't do that. It actually doesn't work well. And they head back to the main group.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before heading back to your hotel and tucking in for the evening?
I would like to look through the rocks along the river and see if there's any of that marble scattered in.
Search. Give me a search check.
Nothing could go wrong. So good at.
Ooh.
Oh well, there we go.
What'd you get?
I got a 1.
Nice.
Let's go!
We're gonna say you find a small chip of it, but that's just because you got really lucky.
Okay.
Like, it's not like the rock here is littered with green marble. It is a rare material. So just because you got that one, I have to give you some.
Yeah.
But now you have a little chip of it. You
yeah.
can make
I'm
an
gonna
earring
keep
or
that.
maybe a necklace.
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, give me an awareness check.
Okay. That is a success.
All
For
right.
16.
All right. So you'll notice that it is a darker tone, similar to the stone found inside Bobby, less like the pale stone that was purchased at the witch store.
Local stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what next? Are you going to go back to your hotel and rest for the evening? Is there something you want to do first?
Do we know the mine where this marble comes from? Is that anywhere along the river at all?
You don't know the location. The geologist knew of it, but could not remember where it was. But he was searching for the location information from the USGS data that he has access to.
Okay.
This is pre-common internet, so he has like reference books.
Well,
Unless we want to try and find an encampment, might be best to just skip to the next day.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
I essentially want to make my way. I would stop by the occult shop,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I guess it might be closed at this point, but just sort of slip a note under the door, being like, "Apologies if any teenagers come along. If so, let me know who they are," and just give God, it's the 90s, so we don't have phones, but we were in the hotel, so I'll be like, please let me know here if anyone is especially aggressively coming after you.
Okay. Noted.
Just with the impression that, like, if someone's trying to cover something up,
Yep.
then they may be latching on to certain rumors that might be spreading. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Makes sense.
Excellent. Thank you. That was great. So you head back to your hotel. I suppose you can pore over notes if you wish, or just pass out, or do whatever you do in the evening. All right. Let's talk about where these stones are. So first we have our egg from the witch store. Are you keeping that under your pillow?
Oh yeah, I had a dream about weird fish last night. I'm going in again.
Okay, let's do it. So you will put that under your pillow. Roll me a power test. So power times 5.
Okay, 45, which is lower than my power test number.
Hot dog. So you this time are having a dream about flying. So instead of flying through the ocean, you are in the skies going over the landscape. What do you want to do?
I think angel. Oh, their name. I think they grow wings, so they're not just flying, but they actually like use their wings to flap, and they like they're going as high as they possibly can go.
You are
Is this an
filled-
Icarus reference? Who knows?
Yeah,
Nobody's
you are
knows.
filled with an incredible sense of freedom and joy.
I love my egg. This is the best decision I've ever made in a game. It will not come back to haunt me.
As you fly above the clouds, you see a castle in the distance.
To the castle, my friends.
Okay. So you come across the castle, and it is white and ivory parapets floating in the sky. You have like blue and green gemstones like emblazoning the outer edges of the massive portal in the center of it. What do you do?
The script in this doorway with all those gems, and those gems themselves don't happen to be familiar, do they?
No, they're just beautiful.
Then I am the prince of this place, and I am living it up.
Okay. All right. So you go, and there is a massive staircase before you. White steps matching the cloud that builds massive cloud bricks of the walls of this fixture.
Are we ascending right now? It's a little bit on the nose. And they head up the stairs.
It's dreams for you. All right, and it keeps going up, and it winds around, seemingly forever. But you feel like you're getting somewhere. And as you climb, you get to the top, and there's a door.
I know the answer to this mystery is behind that door. And I am gonna open it. I know I can do this. And they open the door.
And as you touch the knob and open the door, you are suddenly falling.
Do I still have my
Feeling-
wing?
Feeling as if you are in 0G. And then you remember your wings. Roll me a power test.
Oh boy, another one. I get the feeling you're trying to hurt me right now. Uh-oh. You might. I rolled a 93.
You rolled a 93, and you keep falling and falling and falling. And while you no longer have total control, you get closer and closer to the ground. And just as you were going to hit the ground, you wake.
Screaming. Angel definitely wakes screaming. Which, yep, that's what they do.
No, you won't lose rest over this one, but okay. And then we have our lovely little chip that you found. What do you do with that chip?
I'm keeping that with me while I sleep
Mhm.
because I've heard this does dream stuff, and I'm missing pieces of my mind and
Okay.
my memory. So I'm thinking maybe this will help uncover something.
Okay. As you fall asleep, roll me a power test.
Okay. That is spot on exactly my power.
Is it? Okay. All right. Then you find yourself in front of a staircase going down into darkness.
I'm gonna walk down that staircase. I need answers.
All right. This goes on for a long time. And as you descend, it gets darker. But there are alcoves in the sides. And in each alcove is a candle emitting black light. Not black light that makes things glow, but like a black flame.
Oh.
And it's a very dim light that sort of lets you see everything in negative, but very faintly. Roll me a power test.
All right. That's a success. 38 out of 65.
You come to a door.
I'm gonna open that up. I might take one of those candles with me if I can.
Okay, sure. You'll hold it, the wax in your hand. And it feels warm to the touch. And as you open the door, it opens into a dark, cavernous space. And there are whispers. Strange, curious whispers in the distance.
Hey, who's there?
No echo. Flat sound. What do you do?
I'm gonna draw my dream gun, and which I definitely have, and step in.
And as you step in, you enter this black space where there is no ceiling, no walls, and suddenly no floor. And you can't tell if you're moving. Roll me a power test.
That's another success.
Okay.
46.
All right. So, as you do, suddenly there's a glint in the distance, and it is reaching for you quickly. And as you look at it, suddenly you realize there's another door.
Hmm.
And you were standing in front of it.
Well, we're opening this door. I'm a door opener.
And with a loud, shocking noise, you wake up.
Do I
All
remember
right.
anything else from my past after having woken up?
Do you? Let's see. Roll me. Roll me another power test.
Okay. One last power test. That one's also a success.
You do. You remember this vividly, at least for now.
Right.
You can feel the memory fading, but the bigger pieces of it you have. All right.
It's a memory of playing football with my dad. That's British football, because I am British.
Okay. So then, Agent Clark, what are you doing with your stuff?
I think, unfortunately, I didn't make the connection that it was the stone's fault that I was having that dream. That was a normal anxiety dream, so I'm just keeping it in the same room, unfortunately, again.
Okay. So, tell me. You have it in the same room. I love that. We're going to go with that. What I'm going to ask you to do is roll me a power test.
See how this goes. Hey, a 7 out of 60.
Perfect. So you find yourself in a wide and infinite plain of like rock and gravel. And the sky is white, the stars are black. And there is an inverted light at the horizon. Is it the sun?
I think so. No, it can't be the sun. If the stars are out, it's got to be the moon.
What do you do?
I spend a few minutes trying to kind of decide, okay, which way is north. Eventually, any other inputs, I'd probably try to follow the moon, or whatever it is on the horizon.
Okay. You go on for a very, very long time, and you, for some reason, don't feel like you're growing tired, but it's taking what feels like eons, centuries of time, moving step by step with agonizing slowness. And it feels to you like the horizon is stretching away from you as you move. Roll me a power test.
Oh, 67 out of 60.
Okay. So you're struggling to reach that horizon. It just is never arriving, but off to the right in the distance, you suddenly see an outcropping It's like jutting up like a blade from the terrain.
It's the first interesting thing I've seen, so of course we're gonna have to go look at it.
Okay, as you get closer, you'll notice that it is massive. It was far, far away and you couldn't tell the scale, and as you move through the years, it feels like suddenly it is looming over you, blocking out the unlight from the sky. Roll me an awareness check.
Awareness? Do you mean alertness?
Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
My bad.
91 out of 40. That's not a
Okay.
success.
It's normal rock, and as you get closer to it, roll me a power test.
Another. Ooh, I think that's a fumble, because that's an 88 out of 60.
Yep. Okay. So what you find is suddenly things shift. You are no longer walking. It is as if the distance between you and the outcropping has vanished. And there's a great looming portal entering into darkness. And as you look at the outcropping, you realize that this is the same stone that they found in Bobby's throat. You know it to be true at the core of your being. And you are entering this portal into the darkness.
Okay.
What do you do?
Oh shit.
Roll me a power test.
Right?
Yep.
25 out of 40. There we go. Okay.
Okay, good. You notice that in the darkness in front of you, suddenly you are surrounded by darkness. The entrance that you went through is no longer there. There is a light in the distance. It is small and faint.
Okay. Follow the darkness and get me anything good. Let's follow the light.
As you get close, it is on a rectangular plinth, maybe about chest height, 6 by 6 inches, in the same green marble that you're familiar with. And on it is a candle with a black flame. You can hear whispers in the darkness in the distance in front of you, but you cannot tell how big this space is. Roll me a power test.
$61 out of 60.
Okay. Suddenly the plinth is gone, and there is a black wall behind you, and the only way to go is forward.
Okay. Nobody
As
ever
you-
said omens were here.
As you walk, there are whispers that are rising, but they're not. They're coming from many places at once, all around you, all of them in front of you and to the side. Sometimes they grow closer, sometimes they fade into the distance. But it's as if there is a great mass whispering and writhing. Roll me a power test.
9 out of 60.
Suddenly, for some reason, despite the darkness of the candle and how dim it is in its blackness, you can see this massive looming figure, not quite human-shaped, rising above you, the size of a mountain. And it leans down, and as it's leaning down, it almost comes into focus, and that is when you wake up.
Okay, that
Roll
thing
me.
goes in the safe.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was just making commentary of, okay, that thing goes in the safe tomorrow night. Phew.
Yes. So roll me a sanity check.
Yes. It's not good. That's not good. That's an 80 out of 60, so that's a failure.
You know that that was not a dream.
Cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Something about that was real, and I want you to roll me a d4.
Okie dokie. Huh. Oh yeah, 4.
You rolled a 4? Take 4 sanity damage.
Hey.
Now, that doesn't make you hit your breaking point, does it?
Oh, it does not.
Good. So, for the audience and for you, what happens is as you lose sanity, your sanity starts at, I believe, your power times 5, and then your breaking point is your power, your sanity minus your power. And if you go low enough to hit your breaking point, you reach a point where you end up developing a disorder. But more importantly and pertinently, you also end up having to choose between flight, fight, and freezing. And that is how you react to what is going on in front of you. So, let us speed up a little bit, knowing how the day has gone from yesterday. You know that you need to head to the university to meet with these professors. So, excuse me, let's start off with you getting over back to the university. And we will first meet with our friend, the geologist, if you please. Unless you want to go to Waitley first, I'll leave it up to you. We'll say they're both ready.
Let's start with the geologist. I figure visit them in the same order. Does that seem polite?
That worked for me. Great. So, while I change the vibe a moment, we will get over to Professor Carter. And he, of course, for you, has the information you were looking for. And what he tells you is that the mine itself is within city limits and not very far. It is actually on Westfield Mountain, which is in the western edge of town, within a half-mile of the river.
What was the name of the mountain?
Westfield Mountain.
Westfield, okay.
Mm-hmm. And the Atwater mine, which was known for producing, among other minerals and gems, the special serpentine green marble that you have been seeing, was their primary output. And they closed somewhere in the early 50s because they started to run out of that marble.
Hmm. Okay, well, thank you very much for the information. That is good to know. If we need anything further.
From him, no. That's what he dug up and he was able to provide to you. He hopes that that's helpful in whatever investigation you have ongoing. You can tell he's probably assuming that you're dealing with the murders. Otherwise, why would the FBI be here? But he doesn't dig too deeply into it. Moving on to Professor Waitley. She also has information for you as well. So she actually indicates to you that the carvings that you have do not have an available translation. They're not in a known human language, but they have been seen across the globe in many, many places. And what she can tell you is that many of these have been associated in worship with statuettes and figurines, and made of this kind of stone. It's often been mislabeled as soapstone, particularly in the early 20th century, but it was actually serpentine green marble. And it comes in various tones, but some of them have been like this kind. They come often from cultures that worshipped a strange god that is very esoteric and not very well known. And it goes by a number of names, but there are strange similarities all across the globe. Some of those names include Tulu, Katahulu, Hakulu, and Cthulhu.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. She is not particularly familiar with this specific figure in history globally, but it is very odd, she finds, that it exists across the globe in a number of cultures and with very similar presentation. A large, bulbous, almost pregnant figure. Sometimes there are wings, sometimes there are not. So that's what she has for you. With that information, what would you like to do?
Thank her for the assistance and try to reconvene unless you've got further questions that you want to fill in. I know that you've got spookiness in your background that this connects to. I don't know.
I want to check out the mine.
To the
Mine
mine.
sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay. So to get there, you actually take your SUV back over to the same pull-off where you went for the party. Or where the party was. Over underneath the bridge.
Oh, no.
But when you look at the map from the USGS data, what you find is that the mine is across the highway, up the hill. That is Westfield Mountain, by which the Mass Pike goes. So what time do you think you get there after your time at the university with the professors? Is it midday, later afternoon?
Oh, later afternoon because it's funner and slightly more ominous to go when it's a little dark, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
We
makes
can
sense.
work with that. So, here we
So-
have.
As we go in,
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna requisition that shotgun just in case.
That's fine. I was actually going to recommend, words are hard, that you in fact grab some of those guns. So if you don't already have the stats for a standard issue shotgun, if you give me a second, I have the book open and I can go find that right for you. All right, so for those are submachine guns, you're not getting that. There we go. So we're going to say you have a carbine or a large pistol. That you would roll a firearms check for, and you would roll 1d12 for damage. For a shotgun, it would also be a firearms check with 2d10 damage. If you want to use bare hands and feet, that is a melee or unarmed combat, and that's a 1d4 minus 1. If you have knives or anything, that's a 1d4, or a 1d6, depending on the kind of knife. So I'm just letting you know, in case there was anything else you had on your character, what you might have access to. Did anyone have, any other weapons before we started the game that they want to know about?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just have standard issue.
All right. Then let's start going up this hill. So I just want to
Make
find
a deal with God.
Kate Bush can't help you here.
Yes, she can.
I'm sorry, this isn't Stranger Things. It's not that nice. All right. So I'm just trying to find the skill. Right. So does anyone have survival?
Oh.
Yeah. I have it at 30.
You have it at 30, so you know how to orienteer. Looking at the map of the mine, I'm sure you have a compass on hand because you at least understood the assignment when you got there. You have to go up the mountain. Can everyone roll me athletics?
I can do.
80.
80. Okay. Over what?
Oh, that's it. That's actually exactly at my athletics. 80.
Great. Raise your hand if you fail. Let me know if you got a crit or a fumble.
I got a crit.
I also got a crit.
All right, so you feel great. It is a beautiful day to go for a hike. So we're about a third of the way up the mountain, heading towards the mine. To go, and now, given that you've made really good time, given your crits, we're gonna say that you got there at about 3, and now it's only taken you an hour to get a third up the mountain. Everybody roll me athletics or survival, depending on what's higher.
Hey.
Well, I
I'm
failed.
good. 70 out of 80.
Regular fail for me.
Okay.
Uh,
So
Day
is that
1, so critical success.
excellent? So we'll say that offsets one of the fails, but that's still a failure. So we're making reasonably decent time, but it's going to take you another 2 hours. So we're getting to 5 o'clock. How would you say you're moving through the woods?
I'm certainly alert, looking around for stuff.
Okay, roll me an alertness.
That was a bad idea on my part. No, that's actually a success.
Excellent. Okay, so you hear coming up behind you, something running in your direction. And when you turn around, I should probably change our location to the woods. So as you turn around, you will end up seeing, where is...
It's Kate Bush.
No. A vaguely human figure, slightly misshapen, with slightly long arms. It seems as though it has arms that are too long. And it's running at you, ready to attack. What do you say? How do you respond?
Well, I would have drawn my gun as I was turning around, so I'm ready to open fire on this thing.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I will say that everyone else is going to need to spend an action to pull out a weapon because you were in the middle of hiking and not necessarily in the middle of ready to shooting.
Mine is always ready to shooting.
Okay. So instead of doing initiative, just to keep things simple, we're going to go in order that I have on screen. That will, I think, help smooth this out. So with that being said, Angel, are you pulling out your weapon? You have a moment while this thing is running at you, folks. You've been alerted.
Oh, I love to make bad decisions. Angel screams upon seeing a monster for the first time in their life.
Reasonable.
And they reach for, their weapon and pull out the egg instead by accident.
Shoot. Okay. I'm gonna need you, and we're gonna do this each turn, to roll me sanity.
Excellent. All right, I rolled a 36 and my sanity is at a 60.
That is fantastic. So this thing is not so wild that you would lose a lot of sanity on a success, but lose one. So, and remember, keep an eye on your sanity, folks, because we're going to lose chunks of it here. If you roll over 5, we have to talk, and if you get past your breaking point, we need to talk. That being the case, that seems to be all you can do. I think there's another round of action before this thing gets to you, folks. So, next, Draco, tell me, what does your agent do?
Gonna draw the pistol, and try and look as confident as possible about it, but this is not anything that he's used to dealing with.
All right. Yes, roll me sanity.
Okay. 12 out of 56.
That's fantastic. Lose 1 san. All right. Next victim. Tell me, Agent Harper, what do you do?
You said we have another turn before this thing is on us?
Yes. First, actually, roll me san,
Okay.
just in case we have to resolve anything fun.
That's a failure.
Okay. So, given that that's a failure, roll me a d6.
2.
Oh, good. So take 2 sand loss.
All right.
And what do you do now?
Well, I am a combat veteran, so I'm fairly calm in this situation. I'm going to take a moment and steady my aim. So I'm going to spend a turn aiming for a bonus next turn.
I support that. Excellent. That's a great use of the action economy. All right. And then last but not least, we have Agent Usmeyer. Tell me, what do you do after you roll sand?
Let's go. My son is 70. I rolled a 49.
Perfect. Take 1 sand loss. Because this
Nice.
thing is moving too strange. Its proportions are too odd. This should be human and it's not. Something unnatural here. All right. So
Oh,
this
shotgun.
thing
Get it out.
moving.
I think I step slightly in front of the 2 less experienced in combat types.
Perfect. So 1 more round and it'll be at you. So it's moving up now, but it can't swing or do anything else. So back to Angel. Agent Pengast, what you doing?
Angel is going to chuck their little egg at this thing's face as hard as they can.
Okay. Roll me, I guess, melee weapons.
Yes, let's go. It was a 17 out of 70, so here we go.
Right, that's pretty good. Roll me a d4.
That is a 4.
Okay. So perfect. So it hit him. It bounced off him. You're not sure what it did.
I'm aiming for its mouth specifically. Trying to get
Oh, wait, what did you
its
roll?
open mouth.
You rolled what?
I rolled melee weapons. 17 out of 70.
Okay, so just so you know, like a targeted attack like that would be at a -20. So for future reference, if you're gonna do that, let me know in advance. That way you can make the
Gotcha.
adjustment. But you still made that, so that's fine, right? So it made it in its mouth. It did the damage you said, but it's unfazed by this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Okay. So let's talk about. I'm looking at the wrong sheet. There we go. There you guys are. Agent Clark, what are you doing?
I think. Oh god, this is the last round before it's on us, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take a shot.
Firearms.
My odds of hitting are not great, but
Welcome to
How close
Delta
is
Green.
this thing?
that's going to be 64 over 20, so no, that's not a
It
success.
goes wide. It hits a squirrel. You hear it give a Wilhelm scream in distance.
The
You
squirrel!
murderer. Yep, you murderer. Okay.
I genuinely feel bad about that. I keep rodents in real life, so.
All right, Agent Harper, what are you doing?
Okay. How close is this thing? Is it within? Is it like?
It's
pretty
getting
close to
quite
us?
blank. Yeah, it's near. It's very near.
So we're at like point blank range, or
Yeah.
or no? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would say that, and that's a +20 plus you aimed, which is another +20. So this is a
Yes.
+40 to hit.
awesome. And I still miss.
Wait, what did you get?
93.
And what was your target with a +40?
80.
Oh, that stinks.
That's
You hit a
just
tree.
wrong.
The
Hate
tree
to see
cried.
it.
All right, Agent Usmeyer.
I'm out. We're at point blank range. I got my shotgun out. I've
Yeah.
just seen multiple. Oh, I've seen a stone hit it, and then 2 guns miss.
Yes.
I'm going in. This is point blank range.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't aimed, so I'm at +20.
With a shotgun, I'm going to give you +30. It's going to be a lot
Fun.
easier to hit with a shotgun. This close.
Beautiful. My firearms is 50. So let's
Roll under
let's
an
have
80.
a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled 1. I
You
did
rolled a 1?
I did 1d10 instead of 1d100.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me a D10, a D100.
45. 45.
Okay.
Bang, bang, bang.
So roll me 2d10 for damage.
14.
14.
14.
Um,
1 4.
As you hit it with that much damage, it's as if time stops for the thing, and it begins to bubble and writhe, and then it explodes. Everyone, I need you to roll me. Where did it go? I love this part. There we go. Roll me a dodge. You're all real
What
close.
to do?
D100, be under your dodge.
I got a success.
Okay.
I failed.
Success.
If you did not put points into dodge, dodge is a 30% base.
I succeeded. I got a 20 out of 30.
Good for you. All right, so everyone gets covered in this goop. It is viscous, it is chunky, and it stinks. Anyone who failed their dodge, roll me a con times 5.
How's the taste?
Ooh,
I'll let you know once you roll your con.
I did it. I
Seafood,
succeeded.
You
8 of
succeeded?
50. Mm-hmm.
Good. So anyone who succeeds, it's disgusting, it's bitter, you don't know what it is utterly revolting, and you are dry heaving. For those who failed the con, you are uncontrollably vomiting. This unearthly goop got into your mouth, and you feel like you will never get rid of it. How's everybody doing?
It's the
I'm.
dodge, so.
Seen worse.
All right.
I
So-
swallowed a bit, but I'm doing alright.
Yeah.
I'm just
For the
As
next,
it,
oh, what?
as it explodes, can Angel try to grab their stone, which was in it, as it explodes out? I succeeded in a dodge roll.
Yeah, roll me a search.
Nope, 77 out of 40. I do not find that stone. That's
Humble
okay. It's
too.
lost to
You
time.
lost this poor thing. You'll have to find another. All right. So that was fun. Given how horrible that was, can everyone roll me another sanity? Okay, if you succeeded, if you are adapted to helplessness or to violence, sorry, and you succeed, you take 1 damage to your sand. If you are not adapted to violence, you take 2. 1 for the unnatural, 1 for the violence. If you fail, you're gonna take 3.
Alright.
We're just gonna wear down on that sanity till we hit a breaking point. I can't wait. So, you are now on your way up the mountain, right? Where's Roll20? I have so many windows open at this point. It's great. And what you see in front of you as the evening begins to wane, in the very far distance, is an encampment. Now, how are you moving through the woods? This is you just seeing this. Like the image you see in front of you is much closer than where you are.
I think
I think-
previously. Oh, go for it.
Angel is chattering anxiously about the fact that there was something really, really fucked up in the woods that they just saw. And they're going on and on about, do you think that's the thing that, they're kind of just like spouting anxious nonsense, I think, as we're going up. And also standing as close to Rebecca as she will possibly allow them. Because she
Okay.
destroyed the hell out of that thing.
All right. So I'm not going to give you some stealth rolls because you are making noise, but I am going to give you all alertness.
Alright. Nope.
Okay, so 2 successes. That's good. 2 successes. For 2
I'll
more
say
of the
I'm
thing.
walking through like shotgun up.
Yeah,
all of
so
this.
you'll notice that on each side of you guys, running through are more of these things. They should be people. They're not people. They're all wrong. I'm gonna need everyone to roll me some sanity.
Nope.
No? Oh, that's so sad. So, if you failed, well, if you succeeded, just take 1 san. If you failed, 1d6.
Okay.
Has anyone taken 5 or more this time?
That
Oh,
I
also
took
caused
6.
You took 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's resolve this before we move on, because you're going to have a moment. So, first, Agent Harper, prioritize these 3 for me. Flight, fight, or freeze?
Definitely more of a fight, and then probably flight.
And then freeze? So fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, I'm going to roll a d6. 1 through 3 will be your fight. 4 and 5 will be your flight, and 6 will be a freeze.
Okay.
Oh, you're fleeing. You're going to run in the opposite direction uncontrollably. I'm sorry. Now, Agent Clark, what is your preference?
So my preference is flight, fight, freeze. But I also feel the need to mention that the 5 I just took brought me past my breaking point.
Okay, so you don't get a double fight, flight, freeze. And because this is a one-shot, we won't worry about disorders here. But let's say you now have a phobia about being pursued in the darkness.
Cool.
So that was flight, fight, freeze. Oh, you are going to fight. So you were going to run headlong at one of these creatures, let's say off to the right. I'll imagine you're on the right side of the party. And you're just going to go punching at it.
Cool.
Yep. So what that will really mean mechanically here is that while there would have been 2 rounds before it reached the party, this one will reach you next round.
Cool.
Meanwhile, it's going to take Agent Harper 2 rounds to get back to the fight, if you wish to, simply because you had to run away when you freaked out first.
Okay.
So, Oostermeyer and Angel have basically probably feel a little abandoned right now, but at least you are mentally robust. So,
I put a hand on Angel's shoulder and been like, "Don't worry, you just gotta get through it. It's gonna be fine. Just do it the same as we did last time."
So, Angel, what do you do?
Angel is going to spend a round drawing their weapon again, and they look a little uncertain with it, but there is that kind of like firefighter's focus in their eyes of like they're in a bad situation now.
Okay, great. And Oostermeyer.
I've just seen a mate just go running towards one, so I'm gonna like spend a 1 steadying an aim on the one that's sort of getting towards him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just sort of, yeah.
All right. So, if you're aiming, that'll give you a plus 20 to your next hit, which is great. But you won't get the plus 30 because it's further away, just because it won't be point blank. This means that in this next turn, one of the creatures will be right at again looking at all of the wrong documents. Clark. So it comes up to you, Clark. And then the other one is about halfway to the core 2 of the party who remained in place. And of course, Agent Harper is having fun in the woods. Well, we'll call it fun. So,
Oh, it's definitely fun.
Yep. So we'll say by the end of this next round, each of you gets your bearings back. You know what's going on. Harper, you realize you booked it and you left your party behind, and you need to get back, I assume. And Clark, you are faced with this horrible creature, and there's no gun in your hand. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna punch it. That's where we were going.
All right. All right. Roll me. Let's see, melee or there's unarmed combat. Unarmed combat at 40% unless you're higher.
Yeah, let's go male or unarmed, I should say.
Okay.
28 out of 40.
28 out of 40. Oh boy. Roll me 1d4 -1.
Oh no. Pick my own hand. That's a 1 in the end. Minus 1 is 1.
Okay, great. So hey, you hit it. That's something, right?
Sure did. Sure did.
Right. Okay, and then moving back over to Agent Pengast. Angel, what you doing?
Since Rebecca is covering our dear friend the professor, Angel's gonna try to cover her so that she can get more time to aim. So the one that's coming at us from the other direction that doesn't have any of our friends nearby, I'm gonna take a shot at that one.
Okay, roll me firearms.
You got it. Let's see. 88. So that is not. That is
Oh, no.
threshold.
Oh no.
That's a fumble, my friend.
A full fumble.
A full fumble, which means that you're gonna have to spend your next action clearing the jam in the gun. So I'm sorry to tell you.
Angel goes to shoot, it jams, and they're like, fuck, fuck, fuck.
All right, Agent Harper. Are you?
I'm gonna run back.
Okay.
My
All right.
my.
I'll
group
let
is in
you take
danger.
your gun out while you're running back.
Yeah.
And then Agent Oostermeyer, Rebecca, what are you doing?
I'm letting both chambers go. Shoot, bang, gun time.
Okay. Roll that plus 20.
I got an 8.
You go. Wonderful. Now roll me luck.
That's 99.
A 9. Oh, no. Okay. So roll your 2d10 damage for the creature.
That's 10.
Excellent. Now roll me d6 damage for your friend.
Oh no.
That's just 1.
Oh, okay. Good. You just got him in the side. If that
Did we ever-
buckshot.
I was gonna say, did we ever put on those bulletproof
Sorry
vests?
about that.
You never said you did, and I totally forgot to remind you. I'm sure it'll be okay. All right.
I
So
only need one kidney. It's fine.
now that we're there, the creature, the thing that used to be a people, I think that's just gonna have to try to attack you. So what it's gonna do first, we're gonna say the one going after Agent Clark is gonna roll to club you with its fists on its extra long arms. That's a 50, under 60. So fortunately, we only have to roll a d4 here. It doesn't do that much damage at the moment. So take 2 more damage. The other one, though, is gonna run up, and it's going to try to grab Angel. So it's gonna run a strength test. Ooh, 50 and 85. Okay. You may dodge.
I will make an attempt.
So it's
That is a
successful.
70. I do not. Yep, I do not dodge.
Okay, so it's got you in a massive bear hug with its extra long arms.
horrible.
Mm-hmm. I will say you at least have your gun in your hand. All right, Agent Clark, what you doing?
Don't really have anything in equipment that could get me a better situation melee-wise. There a way I could like shove this thing back and try to like distance myself from it?
You'd have to roll an opposed strength test, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, no.
You could pull out your gun. You could try to run. There's no attack of opportunity here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think through my options. Honestly, like, feel like, yeah, he would try to get away, at the very least. Like, just I'm gonna play it straight.
Yeah, you can like run to your party, for example.
Yeah.
So I don't have to make you roll anything for that. So you just get back to your party.
Okay,
And then yeah, the creature has already gone, so it can't go again.
Okay.
So let's say Agent Harper, what are you doing now? You're back with your party, your gun's out.
I'm gonna take a shot at the first creature I see.
All right, okay, so is that the one with Angel, or is that the one that Agent Clark ran away from?
Probably the one with Angel, if it looks like they're in danger.
Okay, what's your firearm skill?
40.
Okay, roll that.
Yeah, nope.
Oh, okay, it went wide. I'm sorry. All right, let's see, Agent Usmeyer.
What did she do? You know what? Usmaya has a new child, and my motivation is protect my family at all costs. So we're swiveling, we're going, we're shooting in.
Okay.
Do I get that plus 30 for being there?
If you moved up, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're up there, there's no one next to it, and you're intentionally doing this, I'll give you a plus 40.
Ooh, that's very nice. Ooh, that's a crit. Success.
Oh, okay. So it no longer has a head, and it explodes.
Oh.
So, can you roll me, because you are so darn close, roll me a dodge.
$49 over 50. Success.
Alrighty, excellent. So you get covered in it, but none of it gets in your mouth. So mazel tov. All right. Returning to the creatures, one's dead. The other one has Angel in its arms, and it just gets to attack. So it's.
That was the one I was going for. Was the one with Angel.
Oh, the one with Angel. Oh! I thought it was the other one. Okay. So then Angel, I'm gonna say you can't dodge. So you're just gonna have to roll me a con because you got some of it in your mouth.
Success.
Oh, good. It's in your mouth and it's horrible, but you are not uncontrollably vomiting, so you don't lose any actions next turn. So, well.
Love to see it for me.
All right.
Recent college grad, it happens.
The other one is gonna run up and try to grab Agent Clark. So it's gonna roll a strength test. You can choose to dodge, but you'll lose your ability to. Well, actually, you can choose to shoot this time. It is successful. Are you choosing to dodge, Agent Clark?
Sorry. Yes, I am going to go ahead and choose to dodge.
Okay. Cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Did not get the best. 76 over 30.
Darn, so you lose your shot. Okay. So it's got you in its arms, and it's going to bite you and take a chunk out of your flesh next time, if no one kills it. So, that being the case, let's move back to Angel. You are feeling gross, but you're not overwhelmed. What do you do?
Oh my god. They are kind of sloughing, trying to unjam their gun, because I was in the middle of trying to do that. And then I think they get fed up and they just flip it around, take the blunt end of it, and swing it at the one that was going for Clark.
All right, roll me melee weapons.
I'm actually better at melee weapons than firearms. This is how I should use guns all the time, and I'm successful in that.
All right, roll me a d4.
You got it. That is a 3.
A 3. Okay. So it's taken some damage, but it could take more. Moving back to Agent Clark.
Okay.
You are in arms. There's not really much. You can try to roll strength opposed to get out. You could risk taking the damage next turn and try to shoot. I'd give you the ability to shoot it at a plus 30 because you're right next to it, although minus 10 for being sort of preoccupied.
That's going to be a 40 on firearms. Opposed strength probably not going to do... How would opposed strength work?
You roll strength, it rolls strength. If one of you... So the one who rolls highest with a success wins.
Okay.
Or if there's a success and a failure, the success wins.
Yeah. I suppose I'll try and take a couple of shots at it, or one shot as the case may be.
All right, so roll your firearms plus 30.
81 over 40.
Damn. Okay, it was worth a shot. Moving on. All right, so moving on, I have so many windows open. I love it. Agent Harper.
I am an efficient soldier, kind of. I'm gonna take another shot.
Mm-hmm.
I got a success.
All right, roll me your d10. Was it d10? Yeah.
Yeah. That's 3.
All right, it takes 3 damage. It's getting better. All right, so Oostmeyer, what are you gonna do?
Is there any on the like perimeter, or is it just this one that's?
It's just this one.
Then it's getting both barrels.
Okay, and you're right up there. So we'll give you plus 30 because it is in melee right now. So.
It is. Wait, what's my meets it? I mean success. I got my number 80.
Okay. Great. Roll me 2d10, and I hope you get it.
4 total.
Oh, we're getting
Just off the shoulder.
closer. All right, so it is gonna take a bite out of Clark. So Agent Clark, it's gonna give you 7 damage.
Ooh! I'm alive, but barely.
Okay.
2 HP left.
Yikes. Okay. And it took a big bite out of your shoulder, we'll say. You're gonna have a hard time recovering that arm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving back to Angel.
Angel's right up on it after trying to pistol whip this thing in the face. They're gonna try that again, but specifically I want to aim right for its mouth and try to shove the barrel of their pistol into its mouth so it can't bite Clark anymore. And they're gonna say, "Stop biting my Professor Dad," is what they say.
All right, we'll go with that. So roll me melee at a minus 20.
Okay. Come on, dice. Pretty please. Beautiful. 50 exactly with the minus 20. 50 out
That
of
is-
50.
Excellent. Okay. So I need you to roll me your 4 damage.
Okay, let's see. Beautiful 4 out of 4.
All right. So it is not doing well. It looks like it's starting to fall to pieces. It's chipping away at this creature. I will give you a guaranteed shot in the face next turn if it lives that long. Clark, what you doing? How you handling that arm?
Not well. Not well. I am probably screaming in pain, and
Yeah, you know what? Roll me con times 5.
on times 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Critical 1.
Oh, good. You don't pass out.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
what do you want to do?
I want, like, thinking back on what happens when these things die, I don't want to be right next to it when that happens. So,
Unfortunately, you'd need a strength check to do anything there.
I think that's what I'm at right now. I think that's my only hope.
All right, roll strength.
Okay. It's a 9 out of 50.
A 9 out of 50 would be amazing if it weren't an opposed roll. It got a 46 out of 80. So because if you have a higher threshold, you're better at a thing. You have to roll higher with a success. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was a good try, though. I'm sorry. All right, Agent Harper. Can you finish this thing off?
Let's hope. That's gonna be a miss.
Another squirrel falls for the cause. All right, Oosmeyer.
We're going in. We're up close again. I got the shoulder last time. I'm going in again. Let's pew 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 pew. And it's a miss from me with a 95.
A 95?
95 over 80.
Oh no! All right, Agent Clark. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's gonna bite again.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
It failed.
Okay.
It failed. It rolled an 85. So you got very lucky.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So Angel,
Not dying.
are you gonna be the saving grace, Angel?
Did you say that I had a guaranteed hit in the face?
I did, as a matter of fact. So I would
do
like you to
remember
roll
that
me.
promise.
I remember that too. So roll me a d10.
Ooh, a d10? I gotta grab a dice. Okay, hello.
Uh-huh.
And that is a 6.
Oh, goody. So it's dead, but you rolled enough damage for it to also explode. So I would like you and Clark to roll me some dodge.
99.
Beautiful. Now roll me con. If you failed, roll con.
Hey. Okay.
Okay, so
success
you're
on the
not
con.
vomiting. Yep.
That's success for me as well.
All right, so you both like, and then you keep it together, and then you keep it together. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So as you folks recover yourselves, kind of shake off all the goop, you just imagine yourselves, all of the explosions in your faces. You are all covered in like gunky, drying viscera and ooze. You look
And-
terrible. Hair a mess. And as you walk forward, the tents are all in like a strange circle with one in the center. And as you look inside the tent, there is what was the body of a woman, and it exploded from its belly. And it's horrific. Everybody roll me sand check for violence, unless you are adapted.
Nice. Adapted.
That's a fail.
Okay, take 3 sand points. Have you hit a breaking point?
I have.
Oh, okay. So flight, fright, or freeze, or flight, fight, or freeze.
I mean, this is probably another flight situation.
Okay, so flight, then freeze, then fight.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna roll a d6, and we're gonna see how it goes. I rolled a 6, so you are gonna fight, and what that means is you are gonna unload your gun on this vacant corpse
Okay.
just with an incoherent shriek. And you, as a medical professional, are now gonna have a hard time because you're going to develop a phobia with organs and open bodies.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm. So as you explore the space, you notice just past the tents is a body of water. And against the body of water is a stone arch. And strangely, a rectangular plinth about chest height, 6 by 6 inches square, with a perfectly round stone, all of which are made of this green marble. Clark, can you roll me sanity because you recognize that plinth?
No, that is a failure. D over 47.
All right, you know that is the plinth from your dream. And you know for a fact, under this water, something lurks. You are not sure what, but it's something. And if all of you sort of work together, you recognize that the people who were here were warped in some way. And they were constructing this stone arch, maybe as a gateway. And this plinth was in part the key. And as you search the area, you notice that there is blood all around the plinth, as if they were making sacrifices. And it seems like outside of the vacant body in the tent that just got shot at, there's no one else remaining alive in this space. And if you can at least knock down the arch and take away this perfect spear, you might at least for now have stopped the unnatural. Now, my question for you is, yeah, you've defeated at least for now the unnatural, but you know it's still lurking. How do you handle the story for the police and the media? Because at the end of the day, you may have saved this small part of the world from something, but there is a grieving father with a lot of local political power waiting for answers.
I have an idea, which is to say, the story goes that from the that there was some kind of gas leak coming out of this old mine that was starting to affect people who were close by to it, to lead them to act irrationally and cause violence to others, kind of like hallucinogenic gas of some kind, to then lash out and harm other people. So to seal off that mine shaft forever, and to make sure nobody goes nearby toward it, and to chalk it up to unfortunate natural consequences, i.e. the son, when he was in the woods, he got slightly too close to the mines, got into a fight with someone, and ended up in the river. Something like that.
Okay.
Yep. And on top of that, you could use that to encourage better treatment of the local unhoused populace, because people who are in that situation are also most likely to feel the detrimental effects of the environment. So
Exactly.
getting them into a better situation would be a way to reduce things much better than simply scaring them off.
Because they also had to go toward the mines, and they were hurt by that. They were the
I have
first
a
people
question
affected.
for all of you. Who has studied criminology?
Definitely not me.
Fire? What's your
Yeah.
criminology?
My criminology is 50.
50. That's pretty good. I'm gonna say with your teamwork, you can get plus 15. Roll me criminology as you put together the report with all your findings.
Fingers crossed. It's a 57. That's a success.
That is a very good success. You put a little bow around this. The police buy it. Bobby's father buys it. The media buys it. And unfortunately, it does lead to a little bit of vilification of the local homeless population because people loved someone to blame. But they accept the story. And you can report to your handler that you handled it, but there might be more work in the future.
Okay.
Congratulations. You need hospitals. You need a hospital stay, probably for all of you of some kind, but you have managed to beat up the unnatural for now. Well done.
We did it.
There's definitely a scene of Rebecca just sort of going up to Angel and just sort of being like, "It's good. Put your work in there. You're a natural. I think you have a strong future in all this."
Do you really think so?
I'd say
Are you
so.
looking for like a mentee or something?
I can put in a word for you, let's say. Get you some
Angel
more
pretends
firearms
to look
training.
Very,
You know.
Angel pretends to look very composed, nods, gives like a curt like thank you, like, and then they turn around. They're like, yes.
And to the others being like, "Good work, everyone. We got there."
Well done, team.
Well done, and thank you for playing a great game. I want you to know, so those monsters that you were fighting, anytime you did 5 or more damage, that's when they explode. So you chipped away at that one, but right at the end, it was, 6 damage? Bam.
Of course.
So thank you all for playing, and thank you, Nathan, for hosting us. This was wonderful.
No problem
Yeah.
at all. I am astounded that Angel went through all of that and is still like, yeah, I want to do more of this, please. Love to eat more.
They're an artist, what can I say?
Gosh. Okay. Taking us back to our opening screen. Yeah, no, that was fantastic. Excellent work, everybody. And so concludes the second day of 3 of Phantom Arts Fest. This was astounding. I've not seen Delta Green play before. Man, when it turns to combat, things go south fast.
That's fun.
Gosh. It's 1:30 in the morning, so we're going to act a little swiftly now, but we're just going to go quickly through all the fabulous performers we've had here today. Kira, tell us about yourself and where we can find you and all your fabulous work.
I'm on Twitter, Sapphire_mess. I also make a podcast called Unsound Theories, where I watch movies with no sound and no subtitles and try to figure out what the hell's going on, and usually fail spectacularly hilariously.
Vivian, where can we find your work?
Hello, I am also on Twitter. I'm Ocean1212_W, and you can find the games that I write at genderphage.itch.io.
Marvelous. Draco.
I am Draco Alexander. Outside of this, I run games, and I'm also a fantasy author. You can find me on Twitter at World of Vania, VAENIA, or worldofvania.card.co.
Marvelous. C.
Hey y'all, my name's Sia. Use they them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay on the internet at PieSharpArt. You can also find me on Saturday nights, technically right now, over on Transplanar RPG. If you don't know what that is, Transplanar RPG is an all transgender person of color led 100% homebrew D&D 5th edition actual play live stream set in a non-colonial anti-orientalist world. We stream every week. We have a podcast version. We have YouTube. You could catch up. We are in our 7th season. Actually, we're in our 6th season, excuse me. We're coming up on the last of 8 2-year campaign. It's great. Check it out. And that's where you can find me most of the time. But follow me on Twitter if you want to see what other things I'm up to, because I have a laundry list of games that I'm playing and I am having so much fun.
Indeed. You'll also be able to catch C on the channel tomorrow as well. And finally, the GM for this session, the absolutely delightful Juicy.
Thank you for having me. Yes, so I'm Juicy Garland. I'm a Boston area drag queen who's also a super nerd, always looking for more games to play. I really appreciate you having me here, and you can find me at Twitter at Juicy Garland, one word, and you can find me on Instagram at juicy.garland, spelled just like it sounds. Thank you.
Marvelous. And you can find us on the air once again tomorrow on Sunday, 31st of July at 2 p.m. British summertime. That's 9 a.m. Eastern for a session of Heart. But for now, we're going to go pass on the love to fellow VTuber Captain Hurricane, who's doing a 12-hour charity stream. I think they are in the middle of their 10th hour. So please do scream, clap, and applaud for them and send on the love. And I am going to go to bed. I will see you all next time. Farewell!